Yeah, same. Otherwise, I'm listening to you get speech jammed.
Mm-hmm. Test, test, test. All right.
Oh
How
no,
about
I hear
now?
you.
Andrew, are you getting it now?
Just wait 7 seconds.
I know. That's the bad thing about the delay. Okay, so
Yep,
Okay.
you
uh,
got it. Yep.
I will start over. My bad. Uh, my headset's been being a real ass lately, and it really sucks
Yeah,
because
your
I have
headset.
to reset it constantly. So anyway, you guys have just gone down to the Silver Shard mine. You have managed to make it back in record time. Dandelion was really pushing the donkeys hard, and the donkeys managed to sort of chug along and get back to town in about the same time that it took to get them to town or to the mine, which is impressive because the cart is now laden with like 8 additional bodies. So they're carrying a lot more people in the wagon than they were when they went down. Um, Dandarin, um, seeing the town, is just a man on a mission. He keeps like snapping the reins, trying to get the donkeys to go faster. The donkeys are still going at donkey pace, but they do plod along without sort of any signs of slowing down. One of the things that you're seeing off in this area over here is that the fairgrounds was apparently moved, and originally it was planned for this area down here next to the manor. But what they wanted to do was too big. You can tell that as you're coming in, and so there's just more space over here. And they've put up a trio of very large tents, uh, very similar to 3 tents off to the south. And you see a bunch of like hastily, sort of shoddily constructed stalls. You see a stage up there. You're hearing music. You see banners and streamers and flags, and sounds like everybody to the north is having a jolly good time, and it would be fun to experience that. But Dandarin is just a man on a mission, and he comes up this way, goes around the big pagoda, goes around the well, and he continues on down this road. Um, so anybody that wants to break off from the wagon, you can. Um, Anybody that's riding the wagon, you can feel free to get off, but Dandarin shows literally no signs of stopping or slowing down. He's just going.
As we're starting to pass, I guess Clawtown is a little bit further away.
Yeah, Clawtown is up here, like pretty far to the northeast,
Okay.
I
Uh,
mean,
or sorry,
af-
northwest.
after you, Justin.
if Seract sees any of the folks from there, specifically shifters, she'd probably call out and ask them to send a message to Elder to meet at the. I'm assuming we're going to the forge.
Okay. It's with how much movement is going on today, it's pretty easy to spot somebody, not necessarily that you know, but to just spot somebody that you've seen around
Mhm.
and just call out to them and hey, go grab Alder. Like that's pretty easy to do. Cool. So yeah, you say that, tell him to meet you at the forge, and you see that man take a couple of steps, and luck is apparently with you because you got one of the long strides. You see his legs just sort of snap backwards at the knee, and he just takes off at a run. Um, and you know that he will probably get there pretty quick.
Excellent.
Um, However, Dandarin does not go to the forge. He goes here, and what you see is you see a small house with a the sort of like uh, the symbol of House Jarasco. The what is it for Jarasco? I think it's a hippogriff. And yeah, he pulls up there. He sort of slams his foot into the brake, and then he uh, jumps off and starts running around to the back of the uh, of the wagon. And he climbs up and he goes, "All right, uh, Sharut, do what you can. Pass me Gruddock. Need to get him inside so the healers can look at him."
Uh, yeah, Shrut hands him off, and then he starts, since they're at like an actual healer's house now, he starts checking on the other people just to make sure they're all right and don't need any major surgery or anything like that.
You know that one of them is going to need some major surgery. There's like a cracked bone in the side of his head there. It looks like the rest of them have been knocked out, but one of them was knocked out brutally. Um,
Uh, Sharut pulls out a piece of paper and jots it down and just kind of like stuffs it into the person's collar.
okay.
Remember for later.
Um,
Um,
Go
and
ahead.
then he starts because they probably have what they need here to look after these people. So I'm assuming uh, uh, he would start loading the other patients in because Gruduk was the more important of the lot because he was the most in dire need.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
Um, yeah, and Grudek's in a weird spot because he's not unconscious. He's just delirious. Like when you he'll answer you, but he doesn't speak words. He just sort of moves his mouth and makes sounds. He occasionally moves a hand. So, Dandarin basically brings him down, puts Grudek's sort of puts his arm puts Grudek's arm over his own neck and starts carrying him in. And the whole time he's like, "We're gonna get you healed, brother. You hear me? You hear me, Grud?" And Grudek's just, but you see Grudek actually kind of walking as he's in this sort of like carry. Um, and so, yeah, um, Dinnerin goes to the door and then kind of like just uses his hand to crack it a bit and then kicks it in the rest of the way. And from the wagon, you can hear him go like, "I need a doctor." And Sharut, you started getting the others down and getting them ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while Sharut's doing that, the rest of you, what are you doing?
Um, Lumio had a bunch of stuff that he was working on before he was asked to go do the thing in the mine,
Mm-hmm.
with organization. So he's going to go follow up on those things, making sure that everything got unloaded, that the tents and prizes that he was asked to select made its way to the proper places and were delivered properly because he had to. Oh, and I need permissions to update. That's gone. Um,
Weird.
Yeah, I got it too there for a second.
Same.
I'm wondering if you guys are getting it every time I like look at a character or something like that,
Maybe.
or look at a token. Okay, so you're gonna go help out with the festival again.
yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, Lumio, you start walking off. Can you give me a perception check at a -2, please?
Probably.
I can give it to you. I
Right.
cannot guarantee what it provides.
No, I can't.
All right. Yeah. So basically, it looks like the festival is kind of taking up sort of this area. Actually, I would even bring that in a little bit. Wow. Yeah, I mean that's about right. It's sort of starting over here at this pagoda thing, and then it kind of like goes this way. So yeah, it's easy to find something to help with, but at this point things are pretty set up. They might not necessarily need, like whatever sort of stuff you were doing before specifically. No, I'm gonna help with organizing or calling stuff out or whatever. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Um.
So cool. You go over there.
Yep.
Ringer, are you doing anything of note? Good talk. Good talk. All at once, or are you gonna do that?
I had muted myself there. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
I was going to help out with any of the bodies still in the cart, dead or alive, whichever way they need to go.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and actually, there's no role for this. Like you're just helping out. So like you're able to grab these people probably one at a time, and then just sort of like uh move them inside. It's not necessarily quick, especially because as you're going in, you're hearing uh, Dandarin basically screaming at this small halfling, like, save him, my brother!" Um, and the small halfling seems to be a lot more interested in the argument than he does in the actual work.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Um, and There are a number of beds in this place. It's not hard to find one. A couple of them are full, but it has 12, 13 of them, and you have, like 3 people that you need to take in and get medical care. Um, so it's easy to find an open bed and just those people into it.
Okay.
All right. So while you're doing that, and you're sort of like going back and forth, and Lumio, you're kind of over here on the fairground. Uh, Alder. Wow, that didn't work at all. Why didn't? One sec. There we go. Zeract, you see Alder, kind of at a jog, running down from the direction of the well in the center of town. Um, she sort of meets up with all of you as you're doing this. It's clear that she was about to sort of cut through the trees to get to straight to the forge, but then she saw you out of the corner of her eye and she comes down the road instead.
There's a
And
giant wagon here.
yeah, because there's a big wagon there and you guys are all standing next to it. Um, yeah, and she comes down and says, Direct, what happened? Why are you all at the Jurasco place?
One of the dwarves was injured in the during the exploration. They're inside and they're being taken care of, but we have significant situations to talk about. This is developed in unexpected ways.
Well,
It may be best to do so soon, very soon, and off the street.
well, the primary thing we should be doing at the moment is making sure that those who you went on this venture with are okay.
Absolutely, I don't disagree, but I also worry about aspects of what we've seen.
Uh, Testing something. That works. Um, and she says, I understand. We'll handle it. But people that you fought with are hurt. We will see to them, and then we'll do what we need to otherwise. Um, and then she looks to you, Sharut, and Alder says, one of the reasons I sent you is because you have the same medical skill as your friend. Were you not able to heal him?
Pierce much deeper than standard wound.
Pierce.
If I had to take a guess, potential poisoning.
Poisoning. Fantastic. All right. Let's see what we can do uh, to help out Hoost with what he's doing in here, and then we can go and talk. Come on. And she leads anybody who wants to go with her into the clinic.
I feel like Sharut would just kind of, yeah.
Yeah, Zeract is in on that too.
Yeah, and you see, like I said, the clinic has 14 beds, 8 of which are currently full. 3 of those 8 are the people that you just brought in, and one of them is Grudek, who is currently being presided over by 2 halflings, one sort of elderly female, and the other a younger male with a with what looks to be sort of a club foot kind of situation going on. He has like he has a boot that doesn't have the sort of toe part of the boot. And he has a long coat, and he's currently sort of device that's attached to his eyes and his ears, and there's a long cord coming from it, and he's kind of like moving it around the shard that's embedded in Grudek's chest, and he keeps sort of flicking the side of his chest. You'll see Grudek like move and wheeze, and he's mostly just speaking to himself while Dandrin keeps going, What's wrong? What's wrong? Will he live? Is he gonna do okay?
Can you heal me, brother?
And
think-
the whole time, Grudek is.
I think Sharut would probably step between Dandarin and the bed and kind of put his hand like gently on his chest and be like, must let doctor work, and kind of like try and guide him away and be like, understand, worry, but they must focus.
Yeah.
You best get better, brother. You hear me? I'll never forgive you if you die.
So yeah. It takes another 4 or 5 minutes of him doing this, and at one point he starts to like turn Grudek over, and you see Grudek cough a little bit, and he like doesn't he doesn't fully pull. It's not like he's trying to extract the kyber shard spike, but he sort of like takes his fingers and just tugs like slightly. And when he does, you see all the veins around the hole where the spike is in Gredek's chest just kind of like they sort of bleed black for a second. You can just see the black veins underneath his skin, and then when he lets go of it, they sort of go back to being imperceptible underneath the skin. And the halfling looks to looks to you, Dandelion, and he goes, "Well, well,
I I'm just not sure what to say. I'm sorry. Yeah, I thank you for what you've done.
normally I like to say in times like this that, well, it could be worse, but in this case, I don't think
I
that
stared
it
at him
could.
flatly.
I don't know exactly what was in that shard. Kyber shards are capable of holding fairly large amounts of elemental power, if our Zil cousins are to be believed. But whatever it was, it's bleeding into him now, and it seems to be
What?
replacing a lot of whatever it's bleeding into. Something's going
Can
into
you?
the shard, something's coming out of the shard. It's hard to tell those two things apart at the moment.
I see. And is there anything more that can be done here, or anyone else we could summon?
Extraction is, I'm afraid, at the moment out of the question. The shard is. I don't know if you've ever seen a dwarf's heart up close outside of a body, but there are these of it that intake and then push out blood like the ballast of a ship or a bellows. Uh, at the moment, this shard is piercing one of them. If I try to pull on it and manage to extract it without clearing whatever magical leakage is happening here, I believe that he may, well, die before we're able to fix him, even magically. I've seen not this before, but similar situations where even the marked are able to seal the hole, but we're not necessarily able to heal the wound.
Is there no instance you've heard of someone recovering from this?
Well, he might be able to
Is there
recover.
still hope?
He needs a team of surgeons. He needs a team of surgeons, which I don't have, and a top of the line Medicae facility, which this is not. Likely in a capital city, which this also is not. You would have a better chance sending him off to Rote, or possibly to the capital of whatever hold the two of you are from. But that brings another problem. I don't know if he's going to last long enough to survive that trip.
Is there nothing you can do to slow it down, to buy time?
No.
Damn it, man! That's my brother, my twin. I can't lose him. There has to be some way.
Like I said, you're gonna need to transport him, and transporting him is going to be probably riskier than whatever surgery might save him. And at this, a taller figure behind you puts a hand on your shoulder and goes, "I may know a way that we can save your brother, but this would be awkward.
Anything, I beg of you."
We'll need to reach out to the Dromite ambassador, see if she's willing to offer her services. And she, Alder looks at the doctor and she says, "Dr. Jarasco, will he survive for another hour before we can find a solution?" And the halfling nods. He says, "An hour, yes. Maybe even 3 or 4. Sitting it, so whatever you're doing, do it quickly." And Alder nods and then kind of grips your shoulder, like where her hand is. She grips it once and says, "Dandrin, you're going to need to come with me, and you're going to need to be very, very nice."
If it's for my brother, I can be civil.
And
nice is my sister's speciality. But I'll do what I can.
Oh.
Gradek, I'll do what I can.
Well,
Can send sister where you're going.
and so at that,
Please fetch it.
Alder nods to you, Sharut, and she says, "Yes, I believe the whole family should be there for this decision. We might even want to get the House Civis in so that you can explain to your family exactly what's going to happen. But actually, I think that would work out better for all involved. Dandern, meet me at the Civis sending post, and I will attempt to track down the ambassador, and I'll meet you there. Sharut,
Aye.
you go get Uswin. Zeract, if you could, please accompany him. And she, I believe, is in the fairgrounds towards the north. She's the one who managed to bring an anvil to a temporary setup, so I'm sure you'll be able to find Ring. And then she sort of like points at Ringer, and she says, "You come with me." So, um, we'll start with Sharut and Zeract. You guys are going to the fairgrounds, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sort of fairgrounds. And
I need a token to see.
you do. You're right there.
Huzzah!
And Zeract, you're right there. Everybody else, I'm also going to
Oh.
put here so that they know what's going on.
Let them
even
sit in the
fine.
dark.
It's so dark.
Best of
so
both darkness. I got it.
you're all right there.
Stop zooming me out. Also,
Is-
Ringer, don't be dead.
I don't know why it
You're not-
spawned you guys with a different.
You're not my boss.
Ringer, don't you die on me. Or do. We're not super attached to you, but
Yeah.
You can't tell me what to do. Proceeds to choke on like a loaf of bread.
I
uh,
Why did you
not
put an
bring
entire
a.
loaf of bread down your throat?
He was
Without breaking eye contact.
such a friend. He just
I barely
Well,
knew
time to
him,
find
and that
another
was
elf.
probably for the best.
I
So,
get the distinct impression the world has not lost much.
Zeract and Sharut, you the two of you are entering from basically where you are. So where would you like to go?
Well, she brought an anvil, right? So I wonder if she would be working on it.
Yeah,
So-
give me a perception check. I'm gonna say at a -2 for distance.
Okay.
Like you can hear an anvil over a long distance. This is a pretty long distance.
Yep, that's fair.
Yeah, for both of you. She seems to be off in this direction. Sorry, she's off over here.
All right. Well,
Also, Sharut, you hear Lumio over near these various food stalls, kind of directing Stalwart and a pair of ogres in how they're carrying some things.
you mean
Because
Zerac?
apparently somebody needed
Zerac.
their stall moved, and he told them to move the stall, and they're moving the whole stall, like all at once. They're not, taking things down. So
So much more efficient.
yeah. So Sharut, you hear that going on.
I hear that, or Zerac hears that.
I'm sorry, Zerac, you hear that.
Gotcha. At that point, she'll tug on Zerak will tug on Sharut's shoulder. And let's. We're going to head that way. We should detour here for just a second. I think there's a situation, and it's best if we intervene.
Best
And
to make haste, but if there problem, best to
Uh,
handle it.
And she'll jog over to where she hears Lumio.
Okay.
Sure, it will follow.
So yeah, you see. I mean, man, why is it doing this now? Sorry, it's I had my token all set up for these things, and it's now just not doing them, and I don't know why. This has been a not great day for Foundry. There we go. So as you're walking over to Lumio, a very, very large bird. You would imagine that this bird has a wingspan of at least 20, 25 feet. It is just an absolutely massive eagle, mostly black with sort of golden feathers towards the head. Lands, and you see Leon de Vidalis sort of get off and then help a pair of children off of the thing who just run away kind of drunkenly giggling like and And then he goes, "All right, next up." And there's like some drunk guy that's like, "Me, I want it." And he goes, "You're too drunk, man. I can tell. You're the kind of guy that would puke on my bird. So I'm gonna deny service now. You sober up before the end of the day, and we'll talk about it." And he's like, "Oh, come on." And he goes, "No, cleaning vomit out of feathers is real hard, and I'm not trying it." He's like, "Oh." And then eventually, like some other kid will come up, like a little half-orc girl, and she's like, I'd like to go." And he's like, "Well, climb on up." And then he sort of like lifts her up into the saddle. He climbs up, and he goes, "Hold on, real tight, and put this necklace around your neck, just in case." And then they just like, you hear this thunderous caw, and this thing, it's just off into the sky.
Seract is going to watch with more than just a little jealousy. But Lumio's here, and this is the thing we got to take care of, amidst everything else too.
I think Sharut would probably comment, bird could probably eat Sharut.
Yes,
Big bird.
it's part of how it can get so high. It's phenomenally large. I really hope we have time. I'd love to stop by after all this is over.
So, yeah, Lumio,
Mhm.
can you give me a diplomacy check to order around people that are much bigger than you and are much stronger than you and less dexterous than you, and try to get them to be graceful?
I can try to do all of those things to the point where it says diplomacy. Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta type in roll first. How about that? Does a 20 work?
Uh, yeah, I think that 20 is definitely going to make it. They will, yeah, you see, basically, Stalwart moves with efficiency, and the ogres sort of move with laziness.
Mhm.
Um, and it's hard to get somebody that wants to do it as quickly and efficiently as possible to work with people that want to do it as quickly as possible so that they can be lazy again.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, you managed to make it. Um, and Stalwart is able to sort of like get them to not drop at all. And yeah, they put down the stall. The salesperson comes back over and is like, "Oh, thank you, thank you. It's good
Mhm.
to know that these things have proper wranglers that keep them in line from time to time."
I I'll remind you that proper wrangler to a species that can smash you is not a great use of vocabulary.
Right. That would be factual and helpful and accurate, and I should probably choose words a bit better next time. Uh,
Mhm. Have a
so,
wonderful festival.
right. And you just see this tiny, grim little human staring at these things, going like, ugh. Uh, there, all of my drunks are back.
Oh no, we're outnumbered.
Yeah.
I don't think we can take him, boys.
Well, I put out all these tokens, so I was like, yeah, now the festival seems like lively. There's people there. And then we came to the map, and they were just all gone. And I was like, oh.
Oh yeah, they're drunks. They tend to wander off.
Yeah, yeah. So, Zarak, Shrewt, what are you doing?
Approach Lumio, and that was reasonably well handled. It's
Yes.
not unusual for sort of townsfolk to look down on those who even now are of service to them. I think that was well done.
Of course. Part of making my place here has been facilitating and easing those tensions.
We're looking for, and it sounds like we may have found our dwarven friend's sister. Some additional. Well, it sounds like they need to resort to something drastic in order to save his life. We're going to collect her. You're welcome to come along if you're interested.
It does seem that my the necessity of me being here as a facilitator is not uh as great as it once was this morning. So yeah, I would be happy to accompany you.
Excellent. It's a
All right.
turn.
Yeah, and with a general direction in mind, and now that you've cleared about half the distance, it's easy to find the tent for the Sornath smithy, which is up there. And yeah, you see Uswin basically like just mostly bending things that are already made back into shape. Not necessarily even with the use of a forge because she doesn't have one. Just sort of like, oh, you've got some tin cups that you need to hammer it back into shape. Sure, I can bodge this out for you. Um, and she hands a pair of plates and a pair of cups back over to the woman who is currently patronizing her table, and the woman hands over a couple of coins, and Uswin just kind of like throws them in a chest behind the counter, and then looks up at the two of you and goes, "Oh, well then, that was fast. I thought they might be gone for a day or two, but it looks like you lot managed to speed it along. Zarek, was it? Zarek and Sherrit.
Charut.
Ah, Sharut.
Um, you see Charut take off his hat, and there's like a tuft of black hair that sits like in the middle of his head. And he kind of walks up to her like behind the thing and speaks in a little lower tone so just she can hear. Something happened to brother. It best if you leave stall and come with us. Is emergency.
Okay. Are they all right? Are they okay?
There is dire need of hurry. One of them was badly injured. Graddock was badly injured.
Uh, okay. Right. And you see her sort of like look around the stall, like, is there anything that she needs to take? And the woman that she was helping just sort of shakes her head and it's like, go, child, just go. We'll keep an eye on it for you. And Uswin gives them kind of like a raised eyebrow and then just shakes her head, shrugs, and starts following you um, back to wherever you're taking her.
Can do they seem trustworthy? Should I do a sense motive?
Uh, do you want to do a sense motive?
Yeah, I'll do it. Just that's not great.
You don't get a read one way or the other. Humans are weird. They're all thieves, really. They're on your land at this very moment.
Dirty, dirty thieves. Yeah. And we'll start leading her back post haste.
Okay, cool. All right. So you and Shrewd are going. Lumio, are you with them now at this point?
Yeah, I'll follow along.
All right. So, in that case, we're going to jump to Clawtown, where it's going to be the fun and happening group of Ringer and Elder Alder. And Alder looks to you, Ringer, and says, "If I run, will you be able to keep up?"
Way to find out.
All right, let's go. I'm not one of my kin who can run quick, so this will be a normal jog. And she sort of takes off at a run to Clawtown, which is basically means that she is running over a lot of plowed fields and through brushes and over fences and stuff like that. But she's going at a pretty good pace. So give me an acrobatics check. Basically to be able to keep up and jump and hurdle the sort of things that she's hurdling.
I actually do from my sheet.
Okay. She's able to do things like hurdles, and you're in like armor. She eventually does have to slow a bit so that you can, keep up with her. And you get to Clawtown, which is like 3 tents, but just more tents. They don't even have the big ones, so a lot of things here are just like stretched hides to block the rain. Some of the people have begun constructing like small mud and thatched little huts, but they don't look great, and they definitely aren't going to last as long as the things in the trade district. And Alder says to you, technically, the Dromite Embassy doesn't exist, because technically, Droam isn't country, but I believe they desire respect as much as Orgev wants Seer back, and, well, necessity creates strange bedfellows. So, just in case this goes poorly, run, and run better than you ran to get here.
Yeah, I'm pretty okay at kind of fighting retreat if I have to do that, but okay.
And so she leads you to where the House Thrash little enclave is, which is basically just bigger hide tents. And sort of off to the side is one that looks like it sort of has wooden walls, but a kind of conical hide top. So it It resembles sort of like the worst log cabin you've ever seen because there's so many gaps to the inside. It just doesn't look like it's protective from anything, let alone rain and wind. Um, and she stops outside the tent flap and she says, uh, "This is Alder of Clawtown. I'm here with a Corvar named Liar, and we would like to enter and speak with you about a way that you might help someone in town." And you hear this like chorus of kind of howls and pants, this kind of like at the same time as you hear this whispering susurrus of hisses that clashes with the giggling as you. It's basically that giggling and then. And from within the tent, you hear enter. And Alder pulls the flap aside and goes in.
I will follow.
Okay. Um, so this doesn't look like a extremely well appointed interior. You see basically a table with four chairs. You see a sort of small single person bed and then kind of a larger multi person bed, and that's about it. Like there's a chest and that sort of stuff, but for furniture there's two beds and there's a table with some chairs. Um, Sitting at the table, you see uh, a woman with scaled skin and a blindfold over her eyes. And she has hair that is just this nest of writhing snakes. Um, Behind her, sort of laughing, chuckling, groaning, uh, occasionally punching each other in whatever joke they just told, are four gnolls. Or sorry, yeah, there are four gnolls who are just sort of, you'll hear them, and then like one of them will kind of, and then the other one just sort of like hides its face with its hand, and then it'll get like a punch in the shoulder from the third one, and then they'll straighten up temporarily for a couple seconds. The gnolls are all dressed in sort of piecemeal armor. A lot of it looks more fearsome than it does protective. So it's like a big pauldron with big spikes on it, and like, why wouldn't I just hit you in the chest? It's tied on with cord. That's not protective at all. Um, and Alder steps forward and she says, "May we sit, please?" And uh, the the Medusa, who by this point you could probably assume is the ambassador, sort of waves the two of you to your chairs. And uh,
All right, go ahead.
uh, Alder says, "We we have an issue that is of a time-sensitive nature. Um, Someone who has done our people a great service was wounded in the process and may die soon if not treated in a large city. We do not possess the ability to transport him quickly, and honestly, even if we did, he might not survive the movement. I could ask House Vidalis for the use of their large eagle, but it would still be hours away and he might die in transit. We were hoping that you might, well, do what you do." And the uh, the Medusa smiles a bit and says, "And exactly how was this person hurt?" And Alder sort of looks to you, since you would know, and she does not.
So in the mines there were these crystal scorpions, and they can apparently just shoot crystals at people. This one hit Gredek right in the chest, and we can't remove it, but we'll kill him.
And what is preventing? Ah, it would kill him. Are the halflings unable to work their magic to keep him alive?
My guess would be no.
Ah, and if this is your comrade, do you have a way of transporting him should I render him inert?
Um, I mean, we have a wagon. Like she said, we might be able to get an eagle, depending on how many strings Dandrin has to pull, I guess. Um,
The eagle
Fair
would not be
chip
able
in.
to carry a full-grown dwarf male so rendered. His weight would increase eightfold, and that would be enough to pull a giant eagle from the sky. This will need to be magical or manual, otherwise there's no point in the doing.
I mean, yeah, there is a cart with a donkey attached to it at the moment.
And that gets like a chorus of laughs from the gnolls, who are just like, yeah, yeah.
Not
And
a bad impression.
uh, then the Medusa says, and for Droam's role in this, the savior of some hero of Clawtown, what do we get? And she looks to you and she says, do you, in a half-elf named Liar, now serve Droam? Do you, the shiftler named Alder, now serve Droam?
Is that what it would take?
Um, give me a diplomacy check.
Gonna come off real bad, or maybe not.
You think like full-on servitude? Probably not. Um, but favors are usually pretty good to trade if you don't have things like money.
I'd be willing to owe you some favors, or Dromad some favors, I suppose. If that's not you,
Droam
it's
is a
not.
country.
Very, gotcha. Very new to this.
I can tell. And Alder says, no, I won't serve you, nor will all of Clawtown. You want to be here. You want to be part of us. This is what being part of us is. We help each other out. This time we need help. Maybe next time you will. Maybe you never will. And you'll prove your strength in being able to provide assistance to others. That's what leading is. And the Medusa nods a bit. And then she says, yes, this seems fair. From the shifter Alder, assistance, perhaps at a later time. And from the half-elf Liar, a favor, to be paid at a later date. When one of mine needs help, you will do what I will do now for one of yours. Are we agreed?
And I'm not sure what you're going to do, but I will attempt to help however I can when the time comes.
Well, I would allow you to watch the process, but you might not survive it. Let's go and see your friend. And she gets up with her retinue, and like as she leaves for the or as she heads to the door, you see her grab a scimitar that she belts under her waist and a short bow and a quiver. But these she doesn't wear. She just hands to one of the gnolls who carries it for her, and all of the gnolls grab these like just jagged looking glaives and start following along. And with the ambassador in tow, the you and Alder and the five of them head to the House Civis Sending House, which is over here. Sorry, over here. And there, you see Dandrin. Dandrin, you see Zarek and Sharut and Lumio escorting your sister, who, as soon as she sees you, basically just drops into a run, like sprints to your side. Goes, what's going on? What's wrong?
I kind of meet her halfway. But when it's Groddick, he's been hurt. It's bad. It's very, very bad.
Have you told Mom and Dad yet?
No, we're supposed to meet. There's a chance, but it's oh, damnation. My tongue's getting tied at a time like this. Oh, damn it all! Thrice, damn it all! And then Dendron will take a moment to compose himself. We were in the mines, and there were these creatures. I can't say too much about where they came from, but some of them had the ability to shoot crystals from their tails. One creature struck Groddick, and it got him in the chest, and it was bad. Sharut there, he did his best, but there's something wrong with the crystal. It's bleeding something into Groddick. Alder went to go find
into him.
Some kind of energy of some kind. I don't know too much. They tried to explain it, but I'm you know me. I'm good with a forge, but people I don't. Damnation! If only I'd been a surgeon instead of a blacksmith.
And she will she'll sort of like just, she's not necessarily crying, but you see that she's sort of holding it back, and and she's shaking her head and just, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have sent the two of you off alone. And two of mine. We're not minors. That that woman, she wanted you because you grew up in mines, but that's not what our hold does. It's not what we do. And around this time,
know,
you see Ringer and Alder approaching with a fairly monstrous-looking retinue behind them.
Okay, just to clarify. So as I look over, does it look like they're running from the monstrous retinue or
No,
alongside
they're
the
just
monstrous retinue?
walking. They're just walking with them. They're
Oh,
not like,
okay.
I mean, the way that gnolls run, gnolls are going to sort of often are not run, but like walk. Gnolls are going to walk on their back legs sort of awkwardly, and pretty often they're going to drop to like a 3-point stance and then just like bound a little bit. All the gnolls look like they are dressed for war, but the blindfolded Medusa, the shifter, and the half elf are just all walking, sort of calmly talking as they're doing.
I will subconsciously judge the Knoll's armor, and I will judge it harshly.
Yeah. This is like pounded pig iron and stolen scraps that had like leather drilled into it, and it is barely protective. You think
I will make a mental note.
Yeah. But then the group gets together, and I guess all of you could enter the sending house. The sending house here is not incredibly large. You see a sort of a number of sending stones behind a small gate, and you see that there is a sort of a way for people to get behind the gate and behind the counters to go into private sending rooms if they need. And when you enter, Lumio, you probably recognize this gnome from your night at the fights. You see Glimmer de Civis standing behind the counter. Standing behind the counter at human height, meaning that she is standing on some steps.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I was just about to close up shop because I didn't think anyone was going to come in on festival day. It's been bare all day. What do you need?
We need services.
All right.
And I'll look to Alder, who's the one who told me to meet her here.
So a sending house is basically like think of it as like a telegram place.
Okay.
Like she basically said that you should tell your parents what's going on.
Message the family, right? Yeah. Okay.
And
all right. Yeah. Then my sister and I need to send a message to Saran Athold in the Horfors Mountains, or the Ironroot Mountains. Sorry, that's what Dandrid would say. Ironroot Mountains.
All right. And what do you want this message to say? Please be as precise as possible.
Hushwin, you're better at composing than I, but I suppose the gist of it should be Ma, Pa, Gruddick's been hurt bad. It's urgent. You need to come as quick as possible. And then I will defer to Uswin, who I assume has a positive charisma modifier.
Presence. Glimmer takes what you're saying down word for word, and then you see her start replacing things in Gnomish. And then she reads it back to you and says, Parents, Gruddick's wounded terribly. Your presence urgently needed. That's 8. You have 17 left. Where are they meeting you? What are they bringing? Are they meeting you? Are you sending something to them?
Come see us at the, and I'll name the healing house. We'll meet you there.
So hold on.
Whenever you arrive.
I'm gonna pause you here because this is directly going against what the doctor told you. What the doctor told you is.
Is it?
Yeah. What the doctor told you is he can't heal them here. They need to go to a major hospital in a capital city.
Okay, then. Well, then no, they still need to meet here and pick him up. Then, so that's what I'll say. Is here he needs transport home. Come pick him up from, and then the healing house.
Okay. Gredic needs transport up from Drosco House. So she goes, "Are you certain that's all you want? You're only getting half of my services here."
I
Sometimes
I
I
don't.
suppose brevity is
I,
the soul of wit.
I'm playing a John. Yeah, John. I'm playing a character with charisma 8 and no social skills. I ain't got more enemies.
No.
Anything more is completely out of character than Darren.
Perhaps add something that the rest of you are safe to allay fears.
Oh, wait, Lumio, you're good with words. Yes.
Indeed. Quite
Could
so.
could you parse this better for me, please?
Lumio, give me a knowledge arcana, please.
Absolutely. Just double check that. 13?
Okay. So, that's enough for you to know generally what the gnome is looking to do, which is to use a speaking stone to send a message to the Moorholds, or through a series of relays that will get to the Moorholds probably within the next 4 to 5 minutes, and then a message will be sent back. So yeah, basically you have a limited number of words that you can use to send it, and then you get back a limited number of words. Usually it's 25. This is why the gnomish language is basically like medical grade Latin, because you can shove a lot of words into those. You can shove a lot of like small words into one of those words. Like you can say like the tumor's caused by inhaling small pieces of asbestos, or you can say like mesothelioma. And so, yeah, she's basically just saying, is there anything else that you want me to put? Get any advice, request anything specific? Because at this point, he's got like 14 words chosen. He's getting half the message that he could be getting.
Yeah. Other than things to make the parents feel better about why they're coming.
Yeah.
I can't.
Uswin and I are safe.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically just like Uswin and I are safe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think maybe Sharut might suggest like the kind of care he'll need, so they can be prepared.
Also, the kind of transport,
Yeah.
given the situation that we're going to put him in.
Yeah.
So when Sharut suggests the kind of care that he'll need, the ambassador goes, "Actually, that would come after. He will first need to have the enchantment broken. Otherwise, anything they do would require a very skilled stonemason."
Wait, a stonemason?
Means to build tomb.
Why would you need a stonemason? Oh, damn, morbid. Yes, I understand. I had thought because it was a crystal, perhaps I had my hopes up.
So yeah, you can all sort of work together and get it down into the 25 words of, hey, Gredic's terribly wounded. Your presence is urgently needed. Gredic needs
transport home.
Pick him up from the healing house. He will be inert and need an enchantment broken before he can be healed. But as soon as the enchantment's broken, he needs to be healed. And you'll see Glimmer actually like look at this for a little while, and she goes, "This is going to require some flexible work with prefixes, but I think I can make do with this." And she'll start rearranging some words, and then go, "All right, this should work. Soranath hold, here we go." And she basically goes over to a speaking stone, and you see her touch it, and then you see like a faint glow kind of emanating from her forearm. And she basically just very quietly whispers the message that she's written down. And then as soon as she's done, she lets go of the stone. The speaking stone basically almost looks like a jagged kind of golden crystal egg. Any of you that have ever seen a Sybaris Dragon Shard would recognize it as a large, worked Sybaris Dragon Shard. And she, as soon as she stops touching it, it stops glowing, and then she holds up the message to you, Dandarin, and she says, "Keep or destroy?"
Keep?
And she hands you the piece of paper. And she says, "You can wait here if you'd like. hopefully you will have a message as soon as one of the Civis runners can get to wherever your parents are in the holds. Um, so basically, you guys have about 20 minutes to talk about stuff if you'd like. This, by the way, is a good place to sort of ask for a private room so that you can like talk stuff if that's what you'd like to do.
Then we shall ask for a private room.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Glimmer goes, "Of course, private waiting room, we can do that. Uh, it will be a bit tight in there with all of you. I we'll do 2 rooms." And she leads the ambassador and her gnolls to one room, and then she leads the lot of you and Alder to another, along with Uswin.
Wow.
And she says, "We'll I'll come and I'll get you as soon as they've replied." Um, so as, when you get the room, what would you like to do?
Immediately start working on.
Yeah, I think now's where we would do that actual like that divvying up of stuff. Since I
Sure.
don't think we have in game had time to do that, right?
Yeah, probably not.
I was going to
Yeah.
work immediately on the SIRAP
Okay.
report for.
And
we've
what are you
done.
telling Alder?
I'm telling her that there is a gate to Thelanis,
Wrong one.
guarded by. What's up?
It's Lamania. It's not Solanas.
Oh, you're right, Lamania. Sorry,
Amanya,
written,
the tree one.
yeah, I'd
Angel.
written Thelanis for verbose. That there's a gate. It is guarded by a tribe of Myconids who are friendly, and we've established contact with them. It may be of use, but we have concerns because the miners themselves have been, and we'll explain the whole company town and shit situation, and we need to find out who is behind that. We were given some names when we were there. I'll pull those up real fast.
And she says, "That's about on the level of indentured servitude."
Hampton and Westernecken.
Uh,
Hampton was the chit approver
yes.
that Tutark knew of, and then Westernecken slightly higher up and seemed more concerned about the town rather than the mine, but possibly aware, possibly not.
Uh, and she says, Westron doesn't leave the town. If Hampton was the one that was handing out the chips, Hampton's likely the one that was involved. We can see why they would implicate Westron, but Westron, well, he doesn't have the position, but he fancies himself something of a marshal. Ultimately, though, this may need to be something that a lot of us take to Orgev. It's his town.
I see.
And if it's something that he's allowing to go on, he needs to know that we're not going to allow it to go on. And, well, he's too desperate for the stone from the quarry to be able to lose the miners who would work it.
Speaking of the miners, we in speaking with the headsman Tutark, we did indicate that we would be assisting them, much as we do for any in Clawtown. They've been dealt a bad hand and are willing to help us. So
I think it might be becoming a bit more apparent why it seems that the trade district and Three Tints has been getting all of the stone bricks lately. We'll need to take this to the prince, but I believe that's something we can do tomorrow. Your friend's life is the primary concern today. Just don't tell anyone about what you found, especially not the shards. You mentioned Kyber in this place, and people are potentially going to get ugly.
regardless of what happens with the shards, and I do admit that is a fairly relevant concern. The portal itself, I'm concerned that with the mishandling of the mine and the people involved, that anything that happens there will ultimately be detrimental and destructive to the people who live there already. I have some contacts in the Eldeen. I'd like to see if I could reach out to them and see if some of the druids would mind heading over this way.
Couldn't you speak with Bluck? He's an odd sort, but I've heard people say that he's one of your Eldeen, one of your
Give it a shot.
gatekeepers.
Should we,
I'll give it a shot, and we can see what we come to.
at the mention of the word gatekeepers, Sharut's ears perk up a bit. but he doesn't say anything.
All right. Well, again, I know that you're saying your main concern is that Myconid colony. If it's an actual gateway, then they know how to use it, hopefully, and they would be able to escape whatever the humans might be doing. But if the humans are smart, and Orgev does ring out to me as the smart type, he would know that pushing into Lamagna is never a good idea. It always fails. It's not necessarily one of the nicer planes. Not from what I've heard. So hopefully he'll be able to take from it without being taken by it. But that's something for tomorrow, like I said. I plan to see that the one who I sent on a mission is cared for properly before I do anything else tonight.
As is correct and appropriate.
All right. So, real quick, you guys are, you guys are sort of counting out your stuff. And by you are all counting out your stuff, it's basically thrown on the table, and somebody who really has fidgety hands and is good with numbers starts counting out your stuff. And that basically means Uswin. So,
Sounds about right.
one of, it seems, from what I've been able to tell, is that you guys are going to keep all of the dragon shards, keep one of the ion stones, sell the gems, and then split the coins.
That seems appropriate.
Okay.
Is there a... Sorry, go ahead.
And then you
And
wanted to sell the lyre, but you wanted to keep the silver longsword, or sell the silver longsword.
I'm going to appraise the silver longsword and see if it's something I could potentially work on to improve, or if it's like as a base to like basically do kind of a reforge process to upgrade it, or if it's just like it'd be better to just sell it.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an appraise check on it.
I also wanted to see what the cost would be for just a real quick detect magic on the stuff here. We knew the ion stones are magical, but really nothing else.
With the appraise check, it's not a masterwork item. It's a workable longsword that has an alchemical silver coating, which means that it struggles to hold an edge, and it can't be enchanted because it's not masterwork.
Yeah, and it won't be silver forever because it's an alchemical edge, right?
Yeah, but sort of with your check and you're checking stuff out, remember I said that the leather binding on the hilt of this one was sort of coming loose, like something had been gnawing on it. When you wrap the leather binding up a bit more, you see a maker's mark. And the maker's
do
mark.
I recognize it?
You don't necessarily recognize it, but you might recognize aspects of it. It looks basically like a bow with a sword through it instead of an arrow, and then the bow is surrounded by what looks to be like a flame.
Right. I'll make a note of the maker's mark,
So it's
and then
basically
I'll just like
this.
I'll,
Yeah.
Where did?
I thought you
Where
had
did
already
you
seen it, so I
post
deleted it.
Nope, I didn't see it. I didn't see it posted. I had
Right.
no idea where you put it.
Oh god, Control Z.
Oh, you were doing that. Oh, I thought you had like an image.
No.
Okay.
Here. It's that. Look at it.
Okay. I will
Look at
put
it.
that down.
Look at it now.
I sees
Look
it.
at it.
Yeah.
Look at that. Now
I
look at that.
witnessed it.
Okay.
Wait, what are we looking at?
At that.
We're looking at this. This over
Oh,
here.
we're
Oh,
looking
it's
at this
gone.
right here. Oh,
No.
Um,
You missed it.
Oh,
But yeah, that's what you see. So, based on which items you guys will give away, basically we're gonna go with you can sell for half, and then you'll be able to get it for half. I would say that the gems probably sell for full price because it's a gem. Like, it's fine. So, but yeah, the magic items tend to sell for half price. So yeah.
Yeah. Magic items and regular items do, but gems are technically a currency, so they're a straight exchange.
Yeah, gems are just currency.
You're literally just exchanging. Yeah.
So, cool. Yeah, Uswin's able to parse all that out and give you a number, and the number that she gives you is whatever number Justin tells you, because I'm not doing that math.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
So,
Thank you, Justin.
and about the time that she's done with that, there's a knock on the door, and Glimmer says, "I've received a reply."
Oh, well, let's have it then, please.
All right, this is from. I have the name as Alinta? Electa? Sorry, my cousin in the Mror Holds has a very unsteady hand. But you have been told to go through with the stasis process. They cannot at this point return to have him, or they cannot at this point return to place them into their care. So they have request that you travel to Star Alaska, and from there put him on an airship to the Mror Holds. Such passage will be paid. They need only to ensure that you have properly bound him before the procedure. The procedure, I'm assuming, in this point, being the transport.
Now that is an efficient use of message.
So,
Aye.
so,
Well, so just to clarify, John, is this the party's going to take him there?
yes. So basically, they have told you to go through the procedure, and then you transport him up to Star Alaska, which is the next town, the next big city to the north. It has about double, triple the population of the one that you're in.
Okay.
So, okay. So, with that, Alder says, "All right, then we can put him into stasis and make sure that he is properly served, properly prepared, and then tomorrow, the next day after that, at some point, the rest of you can take him to Star Alaska and see him off. In the meantime, do what you can to relax. I'll go with Dandarin and watch the ambassador to make sure that everything's going the way it should be." So yeah, at that point, Alder will sort of speak to you, Dandarin, and say like, "Well, let's get this over with. I know that time's of the essence, and I want to make sure we give the doctors at the other side as much time as we can."
Let's get to it then.
All right. So
yeah, now I'll go witness the ritual being done.
Yeah. You basically witness as much as you can. What happens is she goes over and speaks to the ambassador from Droam, and the ambassador accompanies you and Alder over to House Tarasco, where you might say goodbye to Grudek, but Grudek doesn't say anything. He just sort of mumbles incoherently and just and
All right, duly noted. But yes, tearful goodbye. Sorry, Zach is. We're trying to put him to bed, so he's being a little.
Yeah, kids being kids. And yeah, then she will basically they take those big dividing sheets they have in hospitals. They sort of wrap those around, and she goes in. And before she goes in, she turns her blindfolded head to you, and she says to you, "I know this sounds very, very harsh to hear, and that given things you might have heard, you might have desires to the otherwise, but under no circumstances should you walk in there until I say it's okay."
If that's what needs to be done to save my brother, then that's what must be done.
All right. So yeah, she goes in, and the gnolls, just to sort of provide a bit of extra care, kind of step in front of the little screen, and you hear basically this skin sound of like her slapping his cheek, like, and she's like, look at me, into my eyes," and then you hear this like, and then nothing, and she says, "You may open it now," and one of the gnolls moves the curtain, and you see this straight stone statue of your brother. And he's been like he's only wearing his breechcloth, and he has his hands.
His armor set to the side.
What was that?
So like all his stuff, I assume we've taken off. It's to the side.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
just
He's only wearing his breechcloth, and he has his hands like down at his side, basically tied to his legs, and he's just a statue. Everything about him is stone, except for the crystal in his chest, which is still there, and still like slightly sticking out. And once you can see him, she walks over to his head, and she grabs a piece of his hair, and she snaps it off, and she hands it to you, and she says, "Keep this on you. If you
if
make
it turns back to hair, I'll know.
that, exactly that, yes. If
Smart.
As long as it is stone, he is stone. But as soon as it turns back to hair, that means at the very least that someone has dispelled the enchantment. That does not mean that he has survived, just that he has returned to the land of the living and is no longer inert."
Thank you. I appreciate what you've done.
Go. I know that over the next few days, whenever you leave, you'll be transporting him. I recommend strong wood, lots of hay. Pack him as you would your most precious vase. I have done what I could to remove as much weight from him as possible, but your kind run heavy, and now he runs heavier still. So be aware that transport of him will be no easy task.
All right.
So, yeah.
So he weighs like a couple hundred pounds. No, he already did weigh a couple hundred pounds. So he's like double his weight because we're dwarves.
He is, one sec. He is, I believe it's 6 times his normal weight.
Oofta.
Yeah. He went from being a big boy to a very dense big boy. Stone, generally, is heavier than people. You know, if you have the
correct, but
equivalent
dwarves
mass.
are notoriously dense.
Yeah,
But yes, it'd still be weight denser, but it's like everyone else is 6 times heavier. Dwarves are like 4 or 5. They were
No.
already part of the way.
Nope.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Curious about how heavy is that?
Well, I believe
only the
he
person
was a pretty
stats here.
brawny dwarf anyway. So let's say he was 200 pounds. He now weighs 1,200.
So close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he was close to my weight, because he should be. I was 187 pounds, so I imagine he'd be. Oh my God! Hold on.
I mean, 1,200 minus 6 times 23, 13, 17, whatever the fuck that
Yeah,
was.
no, it's he weighs a ton as he is now.
Yeah,
Quite literally a human.
but I'm sure Sharut, our muscle goblin, can still drag him.
So close.
Mhm.
11:25.
It's his job.
11:25.
11:25.
Sharut cannot carry you, but Sharut will drag you to safety.
Hold on.
Grudek comes back to
Sharud, What if
life.
your strength counter is too higher?
Grudek comes back to life, and his legs have been just sort of dragged down to nubs.
Is there a way we can finagle the numbers just to make it so that this meme can happen? Absolutely not, Travis.
Can we buff my intelligence? Because yeah.
Well, in order to drag you better, Sharut needs to be smarter, because that's how that works.
Hold on.
He's
Actually,
not
fun fact.
smart enough to drag you.
No, I love the meme. I think
all
that's
about
hilarious.
levers.
But what if Noah, you counted it as being 2 points higher for the purpose of carrying, because somebody went through and optimized your carrying set, like as part of a class feature they had. Like I don't know, maintenance.
Does it specifically say does it
Your
specifically
carrying
say the
capacity counts
attribute?
if it's 2 points higher.
Yeah, that would do it.
Awesome. All right. So, since we have been doing this for about 2 hours, I want to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to get introduced to Travis's new character.
And also the festival. Hooray!
And also the festival.
Hey.
Yeah.
And now it's time
now that
for
my
our
brother
fun
is
stuff.
safe, I can
Somebody
participate.
remembered that festival.
So
All right.
at this point, I'm going to assume that we just got the cash from the divvying up.
Yeah, we.
Yeah, that's fair. You guys can just get the cash, or as soon as you get to the festival, it's very easy to make those transactions.
The other question is, should we be leveled yet?
What I told
Everything
everybody
but,
else
hit
was
points.
go ahead and add everything except for your hit points.
Okay.
So your hit points will be added when you sleep, but everything else, go ahead. It's fine. You guys had like basically 3 hours of downtime just riding on the way back. It's fine. So, cool. We'll come back here at about 8:35, and I will see you all then.
Cool.
Okay.
And break.
I'm gonna go.
For that 0.8, that's just
Stare real
silver
quick.
pieces, right?
Yes. So everybody gets 72 gold and 8 silver pieces, and there is now a party share of basically the remainder, which is 73 gold and 4 copper.
Bueno. Lumio, you still here?
Yeah.
Add a potion of shield to your inventory.
Ooh.
I got a feeling you're gonna need that more than I am.
Yeah. Probably. What the next one?
My God, I have money.
Yeah, I'll
It's
be
being
right
invested in
back.
the wagon. Okay, there we go. All right, be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Beep beep. I'm a sheep.
I think I'm about to spend all of my money on a single item.
Like real life money or not real life money?
Not real life money. The
What's the
gold that
item?
we just got.
I mean, you could. If you send John money, I'm sure he'll give you more gold.
Yeah, let's play pay to win the tabletop RPG.
Oh,
That
cool.
doesn't sound like fun. Unsubscribe.
Well, all right, I'm in.
It's the Tom Segura thing when he said like he tried to go get medical marijuana, and the guy was like, "Dude, your card's been expired for 3 years." And he goes, "Come on, man." And he goes, "All right."
Sounds like the medical marijuana guy. I don't know. 4 minutes.
Oh yes.
I should be able to find a portable alchemist's lab at the festival, yeah?
Potentially, yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
That's in what's he looking for.
If I didn't know any better, I would say you're from the tavern.
What? What? Why would you say I'm from the tavern?
The amount of S's.
Oh, yes.
The tavern. I don't know what you're talking about.
Wrong place, wrong time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You can do that wherever you want?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
I hear him pouring a drink. What have I done?
As is tradition.
As is tradition.
Handshaking, tears dripping down his eyes. As is tradition.
Don't worry, it's
15
only
drink.
the alcohol that's crying.
1 second, I'll be right back.
My body's just exercising it from my system for me.
Fears enjoyment. Has to get it out somehow.
I think you gave me just enough gold.
Goddamn soup was too thin.
What?
Yeah, I didn't catch that either.
Those Travis again. Hitting
Yeah.
that
No,
whoever made his soup.
basically, I'm gonna just go out on a limb and let you all know. Fucking Campbell's soup sucks ass.
Yeah.
You don't say.
Correct.
Well, yeah.
There is
got
no
some
good meal
vegetable
that you can
soup.
pay less than $2 for.
Yeah.
Actually, no,
I know
I'll take that
that.
back. A Costco hot dog is acceptable.
Like,
Yeah. It's,
Correct. And a slice of pizza.
times be tough, and let me tell you, oof, this shit sucks.
What kind did you get?
We've got some top ramen in the shelf.
The fact
And
that
it's not
he's-
even top ramen, it's off brands of top ramen.
The fact that he's like off mic saying this only adds to the
Yeah.
pain. Like you can tell it's that hurtful of a meal because he's
Fucking
off mic.
soup sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I really do, honestly. It just tastes like fucking water, man.
What kind did you get?
Vegetable soup.
Well, that's your problem.
Yeah.
No, the problem is that I got picked up fucking Campbell's soup. It wasn't the flavor. It's all bad.
Yeah.
He goes off mic a bit, and then he comes back on mic. I love it.
These guys aren't half bad. Yeah, they're all bad.
Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Like, I got some fancy fucking bread, buttered it up. I'm like, can't wait to dip this in my soup. It fucking tastes like water. I'm having just fucking soggy bread. This sucks.
That is unfortunate.
The evolution of your meal to bad soup, from bad soup to soggy bread, is really just that was the character arc.
All I have is soggy water.
I know. I'm actually upset now. Like, it was a joke at first, but I'm actually pissed now.
Right.
Man, that's why I use buttered bread.
I just had 2 peanut butter sandwiches, so.
It's peanut butter jelly time.
I'm just saying, like, that was probably just as expensive as this and better.
I don't know. I used extremely cheap bread.
Bro, come over here and I'll give you my soup. We'll do the taste test.
Sure, I'll be right over.
Cool.
Just pay my airfare.
Dude,
Right.
I'd do it. It's so bad.
Don't tempt me.
I will tempt every single one of you to pay for my airfare.
Please.
I haven't the strength. Yeah, I'm counting on that. Pay me.
Honestly, this shit. I'm gonna
Mike,
throw
I'll
it
do
away.
it. I
Mike-
know. Do it.
My,
Yeah,
my friendship is pay to win.
The canning process on soup just makes it have to taste like that metallic-y grossness, unless they do a lot of work to make sure that doesn't happen, which Campbell's will not do.
I've never had any problems with like the chunky soups, but
Yeah.
They
I'm also a
typically go
trash
to that
goblin of a
extra.
person, so I maybe just not taste it.
They are a step up.
All right.
All right. Travis, are you okay?
Yeah, I threw away the soup. Shit sucks. I'm just eating bread.
Now
Okay.
I'm just picturing you just yeeting a bowl of soup out into your hallway and
I have
saying,
bread and
"Fucking
chocolate
God."
milk. I'm
Now
not saying
that
I'm
ye-
poor.
Now that ye have angrily yeeten,
Mhm.
Sir,
Or-
we both know it's Jotun.
it is.
No, we don't.
We
This is
do.
new words.
No, we don't.
It is Jotun only in the past participle. Thank you.
Mike's in
Yeah.
a totally different part of the country. It could be Jotun down there.
So starch bomb. It wasn't even canned salt water. There was no salt to be added. The shit was just water that tried not to be.
Water
Well,
that tried not to be.
Wait.
Travis,
So,
obviously,
so
they
hold
were
on.
expecting your tears to
You got
salt
the
the water for you.
You got the LaCroix of soup.
Dude, I got LaCroix is a blessing by comparison. But yeah, basically.
Oof, duh.
I wonder.
Even the noodles were like, we know we're bad.
I wonder
I'm
if Campbell's
sorry.
actually just. Did they just bottle the tears? Like,
Dude, it's it's so trash.
They bottled the tears of people who have seen vegetables.
For real. And like any noodle or vegetable I picked out, it went, hey man, you might not want to eat me.
All right, sir. I
This
want
is
you to
a-
think about
this is a
vegetables. Okay.
good time to
And
let
then
our
just start
listeners know that we're
viciously eating
sponsored
them,
by Campbell's Soup.
collecting the tears.
We are not. Get rid of that sponsor.
This is a good time to let our listeners know.
They haven't given us a lot of money, Travis. We can
Yeah, we
shit
are
on
not
them all we
sponsored by Campbell's, in case anyone was guessing.
Yeah. And if we are,
Well, yeah,
I
and now
gotta
we
go.
won't be.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, only 2 of you are actually trying for that kind of thing. The rest of us, we're just hangers on.
Yeah,
No, man. Great.
Travis
The
and I
Booze Lip
want
Tavern
this
does not
stream
endorse
life,
Campbell's.
but only Travis is, good at it. So
Water with poor ambitions. Oh.
It's for real. Water with poor ambitions, for real. The couch potatoes of soup, Campbell's.
Yeah.
uh,
The unemployed vegetables of soup.
so, all right, Dandrin, with that done, the Hoost Jurasco tells you that he goes, well, he can stay here for the night, but you'll have to pick him up in the morning. or at least by the end of tomorrow, or whenever you can.
Please just don't
Aye.
leave him here.
I'll
All right, buddy. See you never.
bye. Yeah, just bye.
Look, it's
Gone forever. Out of
gonna
sight,
be-
out of mind.
it's gonna become weird for us if people think that we're turning people to stone in our clinic. People might not come. Actually, tell people. Go ahead. That's fine.
I just run outside. My God, they turned my brother to stone. They petrified him. Run, run for your lives.
You inside Hoost goes.
And then I'll hold out the piece of his hair.
Inside
Look what they done. They broke a piece of him off.
Hoost goes, yes, and just like leans back in his chair with his feet on the desk. No more work for Hoost. All right, so Uswin, when it's done, Uswin tells you, I've got to get back to the stall. Even if we're just closing it down, I have to get back to close it down. But
I'll come help you do that.
we've got
And then
a few hours to go yet, so might be able to keep it open a bit just to keep me busy. I don't know. But they start heading over. So I'm going to start with this charming fellow right here.
Mm-hmm.
Monsieur Delian Delesh Devandi.
This is critic.
You, sir.
How did I get inside a gnome body?
No.
Everything's unhinged.
No.
I like
When
that
a
he was just so
mommy
sad.
gnome
Like,
and a daddy gnome love each other very much.
Pause. Eric, why did you roll a random d10?
for my hit die.
Okay. We'll do that
'Cause I
later, but
assumed
you
everyone
can
else did
keep
it
your
earlier.
7. Nope, nobody's
No.
done it
Oh,
yet. So, but you can keep your 7. That's fine. And then we'll see what I roll, and you'll take the higher one, like I said. So, Delian, which is still named Gruddick for some reason. What the fuck?
I know that was the whole bit.
brother. Oh no, they've reincarnated.
Oh my God, I've split.
They're multiplying.
Brother, I have to put you down. It's witchcraft. One of
Well-
you's clearly possessed by a spooky ghost. You can see the scream.
Yeah, that's the clone looking into the mirror. My God, am I the real one or the fake one?
Which one do I kill and which one do I kill second?
Oh,
Three
no!
of them.
Wait, this guy.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
He's still
So,
possessed by a spooky ghost.
yeah, I mean, you've been in town for a couple of months, mostly doing work outside of town. You go south to Sterngate, you go east to Kidron, or you go north to Starlasker, and you do most of your work there, and then bring it back because you've noticed basically two things about work here in New Seer. Thing number one, people don't have much to take,
Mm-hmm.
so the actual taking of it to get something special, more than just table scraps and stuff, is actually pretty rough because you have to be able to spot somebody who has more than just the bare bones. The other thing is that since people have very little, they are incredibly protective about what they do have, like a lot, and sort of angrily so. So
And you shouldn't
basically,
shit where you sleep.
yeah, there's that too, where what kind of shitty person goes to one of the poorest cities in the entire world to steal from them when, like, 3 days up the road, there's a larger city that you could actually, like, potentially make a couple of coins on.
Yeah, it makes way more sense.
Yeah. So, you've your last job in Star Alaska was probably a couple weeks ago. You came in, you dropped off your take to Malkin. Malkin took his cut, and then basically you've just been living on your coin since then. And then you're gonna do the sort of the usual. When it runs out, you'll go do something else. And but for now, you are at the Festival of Remembrance. The Festival of Remembrance is for a small town fair, not bad. It's definitely not gonna hit the heights of the Queen's birthday party, like in the center of Metrol or Eston or Making.
Of course not.
But those were metropolises, and this is Seer is officially classified as a large town or a large village, I think it is. So yeah, uh, but you've got people hawking wares. There's jugglers. There's people dancing. The dancing is a lot, and you're from Sear. You've seen the Tago before, and
Yeah.
that's basically what the big stage down here at the bottom is being used for.
Okay.
Is people are currently sort of learning the Tago. Anybody that doesn't know it.
Oh, wonderful.
It's sort of like a thing at fairs to teach it to people who don't know it. And but yeah, do you have any particular things that Delian is doing today to sort of, kind of hang out, have fun, relax before he probably needs to go work again and earn some coin?
He would probably be wandering around, look at like spending a little coin to help these little small time vendors out, maybe buy some food here and there,
Okay.
watch the bird fly around with kids and stuff, just kind of not even really perusing anything, just enjoying being around.
Yeah. So the basically what they have sort of done is they have broken up the sort of like food stalls into like three separate areas, and those
Yeah.
three areas are basically all of the baked type goods. So here you
Hmm.
have your meat buns, your breads, your pies, that kind of thing. Over in this area, you have parts of animals on sticks roasted over fire.
Mm.
Um, and then in this
Classic.
area, you have Gage Galanda's brews. Um,
Hmm.
it's just a bunch of barrels and a bunch of bottles and a bunch of drunks standing around while a halfling gets them all really, really sauced.
I think he would spend most of his time over at the pastries and such.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, there's a pretty good selection. Mostly because the forest that's just outside of town is pretty good for things like berries and that sort of thing. Also, uh, the harvest this year hasn't really started, but uh, people from what you're able to pick up from the rumors and the conversations around you is that there was somebody trying something with some sort of like preservation or preserving or something in Star Alaska. So a lot of the vegetables from last year's harvest are still somehow fresh coming from that city.
Oh wow.
And a lot of the vegetables, a lot of fruit, that sort of thing. So you've
Yeah.
got a lot of like citrusy type pies and tarts and that sort of thing. And if you want, they're going to have a spice room pie contest. Um, uh, they're advertising it now. You see a small halfling basically standing on a barrel telling everyone the Spice Room contest begins in 30 minutes. We're gonna do this by the slice because I don't want you all wasting them.
Mm.
And uh, you're from Sear. I don't know if Spice Room is precisely your sort of like flavor, but it's basically you take all that earthiness of of uh, of like your standard sort of mushroom dish, and you add
Yeah.
all of that unflavorful spice that you find in like ghost peppers, and you basically have a spice room pie.
Oh, okay.
So it's just dirt that gives you acid reflux, basically.
Yeah, definitely just leaning more towards like the fruit pies than maybe a meat pie, but maybe this like back and forth bit so he can
Yeah,
truly enjoy each flavor.
yeah, and it
But
is
no spice room, none of that.
yeah, and they're not charging you an ungodly amount or anything. Everything is fairly cheap. You're tossing out, a silver piece or two for a pie that's like I mean, this is basically like a human-sized calzone.
Hmm.
So, I don't even know if you're able to put it all away, but if not, hey, you'll have leftovers for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, but it's delicious. You can throw a couple of sovereigns over there, and then Is there anything else in particular that that Delian thinks that would be sort of um, that he would be really interested in? Is he listening around? Is he just keeping an eye on stuff, or is he really just chilling out for the day?
I think he might be, especially after finishing a job, just relaxing, just really like I could see him moseying around the entire area, may not really commit to anything, but
Okay.
he'll watch a lot of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, so you're like, you walk around, you grab a pie, eat part of it, maybe like hand the rest off to a kid or something. Go grab a
Yeah.
different one, eat part of that one. Hey, this one's pretty good too. I wonder how this compares to the last place. So you go back there, let's grab one of their tarts. Um, Come over here to sit down for a second and eat. And can you give me a perception check?
Of course. And then
Um, as you sort of sit down to eat, and remember, like Eberron is a setting where the little people are sort of fully integrated into society. Like
yeah.
goblins, halflings, and gnomes are just as much a part of society as everyone else. So like half of the table is basically set aside for someone of like your stature. And
Hmm.
as you're sort of climbing up into the seats so that you can sit down to enjoy your like mug of cider and your meat pie, you see that somebody is underneath the table. What you sort of see is an elf that is uh, they look very thin, sort of uh, Caucasian skin tone. Um,
Hmm.
They've got hair that is sort of dyed half. It's dyed in two colors in half, but instead of being straight down the middle, back to front, it's sort of straight down the middle, side to side at the like the ear tips.
Oh, very
So
interesting.
the front of their hair is sort of this white, and then the back of it is black, and it looks like they are wearing a very garish red, purple, and blue cape, and like they have covering their forehead a mask that doesn't necessarily cover the eyes; it just covers the forehead, and it has two horns, one of which, the left one, is sort of downward turning, and the right one is sort of upward turning and ends in a little silver cap. Um,
Hmm.
what you see is an elf dressed as Metroline, and you
Okay.
look down and see them, and they kind of make eye contact with you, and uh, you see this elf sort of push herself off the ground underneath the table, like almost into a 3-point stance, like she's gonna have to run. Um, do you have knowledge local by any chance?
I believe I don't.
Go ahead and give me a
Oh, I
knowledge
do
local roll.
have I do have knowledge local. It's just not class skill.
If you do you have a rank in it?
No, then
Okay.
obviously I don't. Then
You can roll it. Let's see how well you do.
okay,
Okay. So this is a knowledge skill that you don't have a rank in, meaning that the maximum that you can get, even though you rolled a 16, is a 10.
fantastic. So I got a 10.
So you got a 10. Um, what you're seeing here is you see an elf dressed as Old Metroline. Old Metroline is a sort of it's a boogeyman kind of
Mm-hmm.
that used to haunt the capital city of Seer, Metro.
Okay.
Um, and it's kind of like think of it as like this would be sort of the primary Halloween costume. This is something that is somebody can go at like any year that they want. It's like dressing like a zombie or a witch would be to us.
Oh, so it's a very standard
It's a
costume.
very standard costume, but at something like this, and usually when somebody is dressed like old Metroline, there's sort of a social contract that that person is entering into, and that's that if you shout the word Metroline and touch them before they can manage to get away and get to
Mm-hmm.
safety, they have to reward you somehow. The
Oh,
reward could be a joke. They might do a magic trick for you. They might tell you a secret or a tale, but they have to like give you something.
okay.
Um, and so yeah, you sit down to eat, and you see like this person is sort of hiding underneath the table.
Um,
What does Delian do?
well, since he probably knows that, he'd just go, Metroline, and just try to like.
Yeah, and you see this elf just and push off from the 3-point stance that she had under the table, and she is just breaking off at a run. She just like bursts like out this way.
Okay. I think I'm gonna follow after her, and when I can, I'm going to try to grab her leg with my hook and pulley.
Think of it this way, though.
That's such cheaty bullshit.
As soon as she gets in there, my cooldown's off. I road hogger.
Okay. What do you do to use the hook and pulley?
I'm looking that up right now. I'm so panicking. I was like, this is gonna be a cool bit. Oh shit.
Travis, on the one hand, you've got pie. On the other hand, a cider. What are you doing, man?
I don't know, man.
Let's see.
I'm trying to find it right now.
You may use this gadget to attempt a drag, trip, disarm, or steal combat maneuver at a distance. Go ahead and give me a ranged touch attack.
Okay. What would the specific modifiers be for that?
It sounds like you're rolling your CMB. So whatever your CMB is.
Cool.
So let me look at the Delian sheet. Your CMB is a
bad.
It's a -1. Because you got the weak. So yeah.
That's super. Worth a shot.
Okay, I'm gonna put an actor down here so that we can see her. She'll be older, sure. So she's like here, and you grab your hook and pulley out and take a couple steps and shoot. And can you roll me 1d6, please?
Mm-hmm.
And then roll me another d6.
Okie doke.
Okay, so if you zoom in here, what we have are some scatter rules, and we have a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6, and you hit the 2, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 this way. You went here.
Okay.
And you see her just sort of like skid to a stop as she watches you zoom past, and you hear this, oh, God damn it, God damn it, God damn it, God damn it, God damn it. And she starts bolting towards the north. And as she starts bolting towards the north, you hear a bunch of the people over here go,
yeah,
Metroline! And then Metroline! And then Metroline! And then all of these people start chasing too.
Fantastic.
So, what would you like to do?
Something I want to see.
No, this is basically what he's doing at the
while
moment.
we were doing something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't think I'm assuming I have max charges on shit.
Yeah, at the moment you have max charges. Why not?
Yeah. Which means I didn't look up how many I start with, but I'm assuming it's more than one. So I'm gonna use it again.
You have a number of charges equal to so charges are different from gadgets. Charges are for your tech sphere stuff. Gadgets are for your other stuff.
Oh, okay.
So
it probably is on cooldown.
Yeah. Basically, what happens is that the way gadgets work is you make them, you use them, and then they fall apart.
Oh, fantastic.
So basically, you have equal to half your technician level plus your intelligence modifier. So you have 3 total per day.
Okay.
So that one just fell apart.
Yep. Well, then I'm going to give chase.
Okay.
Just trying to cause. I'm not going to chase for too long.
Yeah.
Because I did leave food.
Okay.
But I just want to. Since I didn't get her at first, I think to cause her the most anxiety possible would be the most fun to me.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'll just shout, Metroline! There's Metroline!
Okay, so you're trying to get other people in on it?
Yes.
Okay, so at this point, everybody else who's sort of walking in from the side, everybody else will be over here. Apparently, someone has found a Metroline, which is, at any sort of Siren celebration, something that could happen. But yeah, it seems to be fairly close by, and the crowd is starting to give in chase, or to begin the chase. So for I'll start. I'll just start with you individually, Lumio. Somebody is shouting Metroline, and then a lot of other people are shouting Metroline. What would you like to do?
Sigh and make sure that the drunks don't turn over all the tables.
Okay, so you go over here to like watch the tables.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. And you see that they are like uh 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 Travis's pie is totally fine, but his cup of cider is definitely just spilled on the ground as this guy's like, Metrolane, Metrolane, and just like
What a
clambering over the
piece of-
table.
Piece of work.
Um, but no one's turning over the tables. They're just clambering over them.
I'm so glad we used the heavy tables.
Uh, and Ringer.
Well, obviously, someone in a Metroline costume is not something that can go unpunished. So follow the voices.
Okay. So you're gonna make the run over there too?
Absolutely.
Cool. You're over here. You see this person. It looks like it. Basically, what you're seeing is a fairly athletic-looking, white-skinned elf female dressed like Tuxedo Mask meets Phantom of the Opera. So no hat, but instead a mask that doesn't really touch the eyes. It's just on the forehead, and it has this like the two awkwardly curving horns. Big flowing cape. It's actually kind of hard to miss her once you see her. And she is in a full-on sprint. Okay, Zeract, what would you like to do?
Sevnor has been bound for a while, and this is as good a way to kind of do what he does anyway. She's going to give chase, keeping in mind that she charges 4 times her normal speed.
Oh my god.
And as a standard action, can move twice her normal speed, allowing her just on a normal move to go to do 3 times.
Okay, so
So-
you're just like trucking over there.
She just like the gates are lifted. She's just fucking fresh out and bolts.
Okay.
Not the table.
So what Zarakta's going to do? She's trying to get a straight line so that she can charge right past.
Okay.
And so the initial catch up is good, and then she's going to use the like triple movement to kind of like arrange herself for that last determining charge.
Okay. So, cool. Go ahead and put yourself where you would be able to do that. You won't be able to move and get the charge, but you can move to set up the charge for next time.
Okay. Oh shit! What does the run feat do again?
Run lets you run at 4 times your speed instead of 3 times.
Okay, I'm going to do that. Actually, that's probably preferable because it gives me maneuverability.
Narrator, that table was fucked.
No.
Oh, wait, sorry, I'm wrong. Run lets you run at 5 times your normal speed if you're wearing light, medium, or no armor.
Mission accomplished, I think.
Yeah.
All sorts of weird people are coming out of the woodwork. My god.
Probably won't be able to get it this round, but
Okay. And Sharut. The surface worlders are doing a weird thing. They're shouting something and running.
I mean, he hears it, he knows of it, but he can smell those pies. So he's going to go get pies. Especially since he sees, oh, hey, look, the line just got a lot shorter.
Yeah, and people are actually like leaving the line, going like, Metrolane, get him!
Sharut smell pie.
I don't know why I'm playing all the Sirens as like idiot like Londoners.
You're
I mean,
not.
Sure,
They're-
now's our chance.
They're
Quick,
playing
to the pie.
themselves that way.
I don't want to be mean, but look at the picture you chose for them.
Yeah.
I love that picture though.
It's such a good photo.
Can you,
Wait a
can you
minute.
zoom in for people to see?
Yeah, this is the picture that I've chosen for like the average fair goer. They're not
It's
all
really-
this person. They don't all look this way. There's half-orcs and humans and stuff, but like I was just like, I'm gonna pick one token and there we go. It's gonna
It's
be
all drunk
this.
humans.
It's an incredibly good face, and it belongs on that Twitter.
So
I don't know if
Um,
that. By the way, that I don't know if that movement needed to be like round based or if it was just like do what you do. But
honestly, it's fine. Do what you do. We're not actually in combat. So Okay. Metroline, what you see right here, for all of you, is that Metroline splits and goes here and here and here. And Sharut, you hear the sort of like baker on the other side like look up and go, "Ooh, they put a skilled one in the mask this year. Most of the time they're just good at jumping and running on things." So, Delian, what would you like to do?
I'm going back to my pie. I think I've done exactly what I wanted to do.
You wanted
Either
to cause
catch
a
her
ruckus?
immediately or cause a ruckus.
You ass.
Well done. Your training is complete.
Now, if nothing else, if I want
training?
anything, all the lines are super short.
Good. Good. We
By the
have-
way, Travis, would you like to describe Delian for us?
Okay. So,
Oh,
Delian
pretty good
is a little gnome over here. He's got piercings in his ears. Kind of likes to wear somewhat stylish clothing, but not overtly gaudy. Just your drab tones. Carries a kukri at his side. Has a book with him, and usually carries that around his back. It has no real definable features, just a book, and got glimmering black eyes, like kind of the sclera, like they're totally black. A very fanciful mustache, and usually has a quirk to his, like a little smirk to him. He has most of his hair, one side of it's chopped off, as it were, and there's sort of a tattoo plan on that, but they didn't allow me to do that on Hero Forge.
Oh,
damn. Limits of technology and such.
the limits of technology. We cannot do it if we do not have the power.
So,
Ringer,
that's him.
the technology of my time.
Ringer and Zaract, as the two who are participating in the Metroline chase, what would you like to do?
Zarak's got enough movement to hit two of those at the same time and get awfully close to the third. So
Okay.
she dashes up to the one on the left and then goes in a straight line, hits the one in the middle, and then is
Well, you have to touch him.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I need this touch attack. Justin.
Oh, I see. I understand. I get it. Okay. And I imagine that's just like from across the fucking room, like Zarak just leaps to
Yeah, you're just like, ah!
horribly here. Holy shit.
Oh, you reach out to grab Metroline's cape, and as soon as your hand contacts it, the image vanishes.
Yeah, it's kind of what I figured. Okay.
Ringer, what would you like to do?
Ringer is quite skilled at disguises.
Uh-huh.
Is there a way for me to discern which one is which?
From where you are, without moving up?
I mean, still moving.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a perception check. Yeah, give me a perception check, and it'll be based on the results of that roll. Because this isn't really a disguise thing. It's totally a magical thing.
It's a misdirection, which I'm
Yeah.
also versed in.
You realize that this one right here is actually leaving a trail.
Ah, okay.
This one is not leaving a trail in the grass.
I will shout and say, it's the one from the middle, and chase up the one on the right.
Okay. Give me a bluff check.
This is where I beef it, and it's real funny.
Yes.
Or maybe not.
You hear a bunch of people going, "You heard the Corrivar? It's the one in the middle! Get the one in the middle! You won't get away from us, Metroline!" So, yeah, and then you're seeing, like, this happening.
And I don't know how... I can only do 3 times my speed, right?
Without the run feat, let me check. I believe it is 3 times. Run PFSRD. You're wearing light or medium armor?
Correct, light.
If you're wearing light armor, you can move at 4 times your speed. If you're wearing heavy armor, you can only move at 3 times. So you can move at 4 times your speed. Okay. So, Lumio, while everybody else is leaving your tables, the gnome that was originally follow them just came back over and sat down and started eating his pie once again, or a pie at least.
Huh. You did well. Discovering Metroline.
Well, it's kind of easy when they hide under your table.
Yeah, except she's been there for 4 hours, and the rest of the people didn't notice.
Well, maybe they should pay more attention.
I was actually asked to come accidentally turn over the table and help that move along since she had been there for a while.
Yeah, I imagine her body was starting to hurt quite a bit. This
Yeah.
isn't the tallest table.
No, it was a ridiculous place to hide. Very easy to spot.
And I'm surprised that everybody else here at this table didn't hit her with her feet.
I'm more inclined to be not so much disappointed with the locals as impressed with the mead.
Mm.
What the fuck?
So, I see there's a beverage over here. Do you mind turning around just for a second?
No,
Okay. I'll just take the beverage.
yeah, it's clear. Like it's clearly, yeah. I'm gonna move one of them from the other table that is now empty of people to your table closer to. Best not to waste it.
Exactly my thoughts. Thank you so much. And who might you
Oh,
be?
of course. I am known as Lumio. I've been around these parts for some time, but I don't believe that I've met you.
Yes, it seems like we might be running in different circles because I haven't seen you.
Yeah, that would make sense. Are you new to the area?
Oh no, I've been here for a couple months now, but you know, I leave and travel for jobs and come back here. This is sort of my roost, I would say.
Ah, a quiet place for that I have seen so far, and
Mm.
yet enough passerby to make it interesting.
Yes, I would say so. Would you care to join me here at this table while we enjoy everybody else chasing after what seems to be now 2 people?
3, I think. There was another.
Well, would you rather watch that instead of just standing where you are right now?
Part of my duty today is to see that things continue at the pace they were set to. This should wrap up just before the pie contest. I do not recommend them.
No, they do not sound like they would settle with my stomach quite well.
You have been in the area for some time.
Mm-hmm.
Very well. I will see to my duties, but please enjoy. And I hope that we meet again.
Yes, my name's DeLeon.
DeLeon, a pleasure. Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine. And take care.
You as well.
All right. So
we're now the best of friends.
Yeah, we really are.
So while that's happening, you all hear a very loud caw. And a giant eagle just slams into the ground right here. And you see the Metroline sort of like skid and skid and skid and skid and skid, while this one just keeps running in a straight line. And Leon de Vidalis begins to climb off his bird, and he goes, "Oh, it's Metroline!" And he like reaches up and grabs these pair of children that he was given a ride to and puts them down and goes, "Kids, that's Metroline. Catch her." And you see the Metroline go, "Oh, no, God, devour her, bless my luck." And she just starts running towards the tent. Ringer and Zarak, what would you like to do?
Well, she gave herself up, so I'm in a straight line for that charge.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a touch attack. Ooh, not enough. You do these sort of like the pounce again, and you swipe, and she just like basically goes prone on the ground and then rolls to the side and gets back up, and your hand just goes straight over her. Ringer, what would you like to do?
A running tackle?
Jesus. Give me a CMB.
Like, that's...
Ringer, go fetch me that lawyer.
Give me a CMB.
You naturally make a lawyer.
Do I get charge bonus?
Yeah, you'll get the +2 for it. Yeah, that's gonna beat her CMB. She's like just getting up from doing that sort of sliding duck under Zarak's big swipe, and you kind of come in, and she turns She turns at the right moment so that she is able to basically like cradle your shoulder with her guts rather than just being hit in the spine.
Yeah.
And she goes to the ground, and you hear everybody else go, "Aw." And she's just on the ground and like, ugh, a touch. It's supposed to be a touch.
Sorry, excitement. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm
Great.
fine.
Anyways,
If you got
just
off me
touching
right
your
now,
shoulder.
you would be my best friend.
Well, yeah, of course. Just grabs his shoulder and says, Metroline, I believe you have something.
I do.
Gives you a radish.
3 radish, holy shit.
And
I'm gonna go beat up a weasel with this.
she
don't know
gets
what that
up,
reference
and
is.
you see her like she stretches for a second, and she leans forward and like brushes a bunch of dirt off of her pant legs, and sort of ruffles the cape. And she says, "All right. Well, I've chosen this gift in rhyme. Do you have the time for such?
I mean, it's my day off, of course.
This celebration, passing fair, is a passing fair for a passing queen. But this celebration, a ravening bear, would make a passing glance, a passing mean. If a queen's cub and a passing bear would pass a fancy, and fancy such a fair, would we be in a mix, passing party tricks, if such a bear found our fair passing fair?" And she sort of like she bows and presents a hand to you that's closed, and when it's opened, it shows the sort of bear flag of Brayland, and then from the middle, it kind of it's basically there's like a small badge that shows the sort of bear flag of Brayland, and then from the middle, it kind of grows out and out until you have the long like rivers and feather flag of Seer, and then she sort of like waves her hand and hands this badge to you, and she says,
He immediately affixes it to his clothing.
and she says, "You've done passing fair, though I'll say you passed quite mean. And let this be a lesson from old Metroline, that such a fancy passing and a passing fancy would do you quite good, but a passaged mark, or a marked passage, is, I think, for you, made of gold." And then you see that the mark that you have affixed, it like, basically there's like a small like little gleam to it that draws your eye, and you look down to it, and when you look back up, she's just gone.
Like, all right, well, round of applause for Metroline. That was fantastic. Again, I do apologize for tackling you. It's not fair, I agree.
She's
But
not.
I
she's
won,
not here.
and that's important.
Who are you talking to?
The people at the fair. Also, thank you for the assist.
Yes, of course. Sharp eye. Well done. Well spotted.
Sharut and Dandarin, the pieman.
Dandrin, tart. I want that tart. He's like pointing like to a place where he can't reach as he's like reaching and grabbing a pie to his left.
I'll grab the tart off for him as I stuff my own face with another one.
Yeah. And the as you come around, the halfling that's manning that booth goes, I told them that we shouldn't have an open-backed shelf for this. People are going to come up behind. Might taste the goods. Come to the front next time,
terribly
please.
silly.
When you come to our place, please allow us to serve you. How might I serve you? I see you've already served yourself. That will be 2 sovereigns, please.
I flick him the coins, and a silver is tip. Is sovereign a gold or a silver?
Silver.
Then I'll toss him the 2 sovereigns, and then I'll throw a 3rd sovereign in because I've got money, and by God, it's burning a hole in my pocket.
I've only had it for 20 minutes, and I need to not have it. It wears on me. It eats at me.
Grodek's not here to be the voice of reason.
Sharut kind of like pops his head up from behind the counter, and he nods and he walks around, and he's like,
Oh, Sharut, would you like to join me for the spice pie?
"Don't think like spice pie. Interested in tasting
The Spice
drink."
Room contest will be in 15 minutes.
I'm going to sign up for it.
I wish
Join
you
me.
luck."
And I'll just put my hand heavily on his shoulder.
Sharut just like looks
It'll be
up and
on
is like, "Sharut does not think he will do well."
It's not about doing well. It's about the doing.
It's about sending a
And
message.
then he'll just
It's
nod.
about sending a message.
Guess Sharut will try.
That's the spirit, lad.
Hey, who took my drink?
Now, like, is the pie contest somewhere over? For some reason, I can't make a
It's X.
You have to hold down X and then click.
It's X now.
Yeah.
X
So,
now. Oh,
yeah,
they
it'll
got
be
rid of
down
the other
here.
way of doing it.
Yeah, the other way of doing it was not working. It hasn't been updated, and Pathfinder has, and they just did not like each other anymore. So, but yeah,
Okay.
it's going to be over here.
Right.
So,
All right, then, Sharut, let's mosey our way down, grab a drink, and prepare ourselves.
all right.
Agreed.
Oh, look, it's Lumio.
Yeah, you guys walk over there. You see Lumio has basically been talking to a gnome, and he gets up and sort of leaves open seats for the two of you, if you would like, next to that gnome, who has kind of a small stack of pie plates in front of him and a pretty large mug of cider.
I'm assuming we grabbed cider on the way over
Sure.
to sign up for the pie contests.
I did declare passingly that we grabbed some, or that should grab some. So, Lumio, how have you been, lad?
Quite well. The festival is proceeding as planned in most cases. A little bit quicker on the catch this time for Metroline, but you know.
These things happen. Pardon me, who's your... looks around at everyone else dressed fairly vagrantly and looks at the clearly an adventurer. Who's your friend?
This is apologies.
You're describing him like he's the protagonist in an anime.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of this kid is dressed exactly the same, and then one dude in spiked leather armor with bright pink hair. And it's like, yeah, that guy has to be the protagonist.
Yeah.
Can always tell.
Oh, that drunk over there is trying to start a fight with him. It's got to be him.
So, sorry. You asked Lumio who his friend was, and then I interrupted Andy.
Yes. This is Dalian, right? Dalian? Dalian?
Yeah,
It
Delaine.
was 30 seconds ago, and I've forgotten it.
Delaine. It is. My name is Delian Delish Delavandi. Or Devandi. Sorry. A bit too much cider pushes it away.
Definitely not convincing himself.
Good to meet you. I'm Dan
likewise.
Darren, and this is a mutual friend of Lumio's, who you've already met, and myself, Sharuk. Sharuk, come say hello to our friend here.
Interesting to see halfling here. Don't think seen you around.
Well, luckily I'm a gnome.
Pardon.
It's okay. It happens more often than you'd think.
You'd be surprised how many times I've been called hobgoblin. Very strange.
I think that halfling took your cider.
But
He's a gnome.
I'm gonna
Just
fix my-
immediate defense. He's a gnome. Get it right. Get cultured.
My apologies, sir. I think
Read
that gnome
a
took your
book.
cider.
That's better. And you
Just
see
throw a ledger at
Sharuk
him.
just like grab
God.
his cider with both of his hands, and he just kicks it back. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet both of you.
Are you going to be participating in the Spice Room competition?
I don't know why you think I would, but absolutely not.
Why not?
That's just flavorless fungi spiced with flavorless flavors.
It's not the flavor for this pie. It's the thrill. It's knowing that you did it.
I think my life will be better if I didn't.
Well, fair enough. And I just take a drink.
That's fair.
I'm assuming you're going to be joining, though.
Of course I am.
Well, then I'll be rooting
Ah.
from you from over here.
Sharut will
Aye.
try.
Aye.
Will not do well.
Oh, have faith in yourself.
I have no faith in you. You will get hurt.
Sharut cannot eat as much as Dwarf.
Is that a threat?
How dare you?
Why, if
I'm
my
pretty sure
brother-
this guy did steal my cider now.
If my brother was here, he would. My brother.
Oh, I made myself sad.
Oh no, he's got the sad eats. We've lost for sure.
Why is this cider so salty?
I'll take the +8 for not being able to feel at the moment.
I wanted to say I wanted to
I've
make
gone
a
numb.
crack about Campbell again because of the pie comment, and I had to bite my tongue.
This is a Campbell's pie, so it's basically just bread and wet.
it's just soggy bread with absolutely no flavor and stuff trying to pose as other things.
It's just a wet cobbler.
It's just a
But they didn't use any salt or sugar
no
or really
salt.
anything else.
I just
Just-
imagined a
It's
wet
mostly
cobbler.
stew, actually.
I just imagined a wet cobbler, like the words "wet cobbler" to the Red Robin's theme song, and it was pretty nice.
Wet cobbler.
cobbler. Yum,
Yum.
not even wet cobbler.
Wet.
Cobbler.
I've had some tasty wet cobblers, but they had like actual fillings in them. They were just,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
just trying
swimming.
to say if you
In
open
this
up
case, wet
a,
cobbler is literally just there's no filling. It's just
If
wet.
you-
yes, Campbell's.
Yeah, if you
Campbell's soup
open
inside
up
of a
if you open up a Campbell's pie, it's like a watery gravy that didn't thicken in time, except when you try to dip into it, there's no nothing in it. There's no chunks of potato. It's just
It's a
the
void.
gravy.
Yeah.
It's a void gravy. Yeah.
Wait, void gravy. Okay, there's a magic item in
void
this game now called void gravy. Make note.
This one dude over here goes void gravy. I'm gonna use that to make something.
Right, write that down. Write down the
Just
void
some
gravy.
drunk who just randomly, like his eyes glaze over, his voice intones monotonely, void gravy. His eyes are back, and he doesn't realize he said anything.
Somebody in chat just wrote "wet cobbler is the worst Pornhub tag."
Oh, that's beautiful.
All right. So while you guys are
Oh,
talking,
chaps.
Ringer and Zaract, would you like to do anything? You've got Ringer. You've got a nice fancy new badge. Zaract, you've got no badge and only the bitter taste of defeat.
Yeah, but there's this bird over here that just let off a bunch of kids, and that's my jam.
All right. So yeah, you go over, and Leon basically puts his hands to his mouth and then kind of lowers them and goes, "Oh, you'd like a ride?"
Yes, please.
All right. And he goes, make sure to hang on. It can either be to me or the handles on the side of the saddle, and I'll need you to put this around your neck. And it looks like a small feather with a chain threaded through it. And
Zarak will put it on, but is wary the whole process and doesn't hold on to the guy in the slightest.
okay. Yeah, he lets you climb up and get into the saddle, and then he gets in front of you, and he sort of he leans forward, and you see him like rub the eagle's neck, and he whispers something to it, and then it just kind of and it caws once and lifts off, and you are airborne. You get very, very high, very, very fast. The bird seems to want to enter sort of like a cruising altitude of about 350 feet. So I'm going to switch us real quick over to the world map. And can you see the world map?
I can.
Okay, cool. So if you look right around there, that's where you are. But you see some sort of important things potentially. Can you give me a perception check? Due to height, you'll get a +2 on this. So go ahead and roll it. Jesus.
That's a good roll.
So
Good roll.
you see a couple of things, and it's all going to be at the spaces that I mark here. You see smoke here. Why is it not writing? Super dope. There you go. I was trying to write too small. You see smoke in that direction. You see some. Wow. Apparently, my map is either. Hold on. Let me do something real quick. I have to alter some things so that I can actually draw on this. So I'm sorry, but this has to happen.
It's okay.
No, it's neat. I'm watching you do it in the stream because, yeah.
And okay, so now it should be big enough that I can actually like write very small on it. We will test this now. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, the map was too small for me to write at the scale that I wanted. So
It's okay.
you see smoke right here,
Mhm.
right here, and basically there's some that's kind of like right here. With your sort of like really, really good check, you're able to make out, and the sort of like wide sweeping circle, you're able to make out that the smoke that you see, you're seeing not because there's campfires, you're seeing it because something pretty big is on fire.
Zeract is gonna point this out to the pilot and just say, "It looks like something's burning." I'm assuming that doesn't look good.
And he goes, "Doesn't look great. You want we should check it out?"
Yeah, if nothing else, I figure we've got a safer vantage here and can report back faster.
Do you have anyone that's going to come hunting me if we try to do tight maneuvers and I have to end up flying upside down for a minute and you fall to your death?
I have this handy dandy necklace, don't I?
Yeah, but you didn't seem like you trusted me when you took it.
I don't trust anybody. It's fine.
Ah, well, learn to trust. I don't want you dying. It makes me look bad. And he goes, how about we check the one by the lightning rail first?
That's fine.
And you guys
I'd
start
defer to
flying
you.
that way. It
Mhm.
takes you a while to get there. It's a good 10 to 15 minutes before you can really see it better. This doesn't like get you there. It just gets you closer to close enough to make out a couple of details. And he sort of reaches down into his boot and he grabs something and he hands it over his shoulder to you and he goes, "Get a firm hold before I let go of this."
She does.
All right. It looks to be a long metal tube. It's a spyglass.
All right.
Give me another perception check with an additional +2, so it'd be +4 total.
Pulling that up real quick. Yes.
Damn. All right. So, what you're able to see, and I mean, like a bit of this is forest. It's not like the whole thing is forest, but there's like little copses of trees. What you're able to see is that there are a pair of wagons that have been turned on their side and lit on fire. From this distance, you can't make out any details about the wagons other than that. They have been turned on their sides and lit on fire. Um, there are also bodies that are surrounding the wagons in various states of uh, like laying on the ground. You manage to see some look very, very red, probably indicating a lot of blood on them. But one of the notable things that you see is that there is a pair of moving beings down at this scene right here. You see two people, sort of dark skinned, maybe dark armored. It's a little hard to tell. Looks like it's two large people in hides um, that are moving. And then as you're watching, and as the bird gets a little bit closer over the next 2 or 3 minutes, they sort of move into the forest. And that's basically what you're able to make out with your check.
Is that basically the same MO as the null attack we saw earlier?
You didn't see a null attack.
You saw a.
We saw the results
bugbear.
of a null. Oh, bugbear. Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially, yes.
All right. Zeract is gonna kind of relay what she sees, and then with that, just kind of I suppose we should get going.
He goes, "Yeah, that doesn't sound good. We'll have to get back to town. Uh, especially carrying two full-grown adults. She can only go for so long." And he kind of like slaps the neck of the big eagle. And he says, "When we get closer, she likes to mess with passengers, go into a deep dive. Be ready."
Yep. Zeract just
And
nods.
and it takes about another 15 or so minutes, and you get to where you are pretty much above the town. Like you're above the outskirts of the town without really lowering your elevation at all, and then you lower your elevation all at once.
Just a whole lot. Yeah.
Yeah, the eagle just basically goes from I'm flying level to I am pointing almost straight down and only levels off right at the end and just slams into the ground with its loud like "Caw!" It's that sort of like iconic eagle screech, just
Mhm.
thunderously loud, especially with you like on her.
Yeah.
Uh, and he goes, well, I hope you enjoyed your flight. Uh, and he kind of climbs off the bird and then lifts a hand to help you down and goes, "I'm gonna need the spyglass and the necklace back."
Sirach takes those off, and burning one of the few uses of shifting. It's all as usual. Sirach gives a short bow to the bird, and in its language says, "You are magnificent."
And uh, you see the man kind of get a little taken aback by this. He like Leon takes a step back and gives you like raise an eyebrow and looks at you for a second, and the bird looks at you and then sort of like puffs out its chest and preens its feathers a bit and essentially says to you, "I know." And then there's just this like the wings flap out so fast that there's that like whop sound, and then there's this another like screeching caw, and everybody just kind of like looks over, and he shakes his head and he's like, "Please don't feed her ego. It's already very large."
That'll earn a
Bitch, please, I'm fabulous.
Basically, you are magnificent. Magnificent does not begin to describe me.
that'll earn him a grin, a short one. And then Zirect realizes there's some shit going down, and she's got to find people. But there's probably some intervening time. So
Yeah. So while you were doing that,
The Spice Shroom Pie contest is starting right now. Sit at this table if you're daft enough to try for it.
and like some of the
Dandar
people that you're
rubs his hands
sitting,
together and gets a weird grin on his face.
and yeah, like some of the people that you're sitting with go like, "Nope, not doing this to myself again. Nope, not after last year. Wife,"
Congratulations on placing again this year.
and he goes, the guy's like, "My wife couldn't handle the crying." And he goes, "Me neither. Mine, she got so mad at me. Stop blubbering, you fool. You chose to do it." But you have other people that come and sit down with you. There's sort of there's this like short, kind of bulky shifter that sits down across from you guys. There's a couple of humans. You see a half orc female who seems ready to try it. And strangely, standing over here is not really sitting at the table, but standing there and sort of shifting awkwardly, just back and forth in what you might classify as anticipation if big piles of rubble can anticipate things, is Stalwart.
So he wins.
You don't know that.
And the pie master comes out and she cuts 3 slices of pie for each of you and puts them in front of you, basically in like ascending order. So you have to go through the first slice to get to the second slice to get to the third slice, and then in front of each of you, she also puts a glass of goat's milk, and she goes, "The rules are quite simple. You must eat the first slice completely. No dropping half the slice on the floor. No slamming it into your clothing or whatever sort of nonsense they would do in Carnath. This is Seer, this is a pie eating contest, and if we're doing something this asinine and peasant-like, we're doing it right."
Here, here.
So,
And I'll bang my
each
mug
slice.
against the table.
Each slice, no utensils, bare hands. If you take a drink, you're out. you cry, and I mean actual blubbering cry, not just your eyes are watering, you're out. If you, seek the need to relieve the stress by putting all the pie back on the table or on the ground, you're out. Uh, if you can't make it, please don't get all pissy and wreck the other slices because other people might want to try a piece and we only have so many. So, Dandrin, I know that you're participating in the Spice Room contest. Sharut, you have been bullied into it.
Pretty much.
Ringer,
No, it's not bullying. Believing in him.
Ringer, is this something you're doing, or are you like, nah?
Ringer absolutely loves the taste of spice mushroom.
Okay, so Ringer's down here at the Spice Room Pie contest. Zaract, is Zaract enough of a masochist to eat Spice Room Pie?
Fuck. Hold on. Not during the contest. She's looking for the slices afterwards.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like, I'm not gonna race through this. I'm gonna eat a piece of pie like a respectable person.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna
I'm tired of
cry
racial-
silently to myself behind the barrels.
yeah, exactly. Like a person does.
Ringer, it's good to see you.
I'm amazed anyone can see my face after I put on this incredibly golden badge.
Oh, is that what you got for catching the what's it? The Metroline?
That's right. I won.
Is
And that's
very,
Oh,
important.
congratulations! I'll pat him on the back.
is very distracting.
It
Very
is
sure.
very distracting, and that's why I wear it.
Yeah. Everybody gets their 3 pieces of pie, and the halfling basically stands there, and she's on a little stool at the edge of the table, and she goes, "All right, then, go." And I need
Whole hog get Dandrin.
I need everybody to give me a fortitude save.
I knew it was going to be fortitude. God damn it.
So fortunately, capsaicin is a poison, so
Assume the save is for later.
yeah, right.
Jesus Christ. So, all of you see, all of you are doing remarkably good. The half orc and one of the humans across the table are doing fine. One guy reaches in and grabs the pie and takes his first bite, and you see him instantly start to sweat, and he basically uses the back of his hand to wipe off the sweat.
Oh,
And then his
no.
eyes are watering, and he rubs at his eyes, and then he goes, "Ah! Ah!" And she goes, "Oh, we have a fledgling. Yep, water barrels are over there." And he just like runs from the table.
Stalwart laughs to himself.
I've got
Ringer.
a hand and a sweating hand.
Ringer, the only person here who has seen Stalwart eat before, you see Stalwart eating now. His huge hand reaches down, picks up the pie, and he's holding it, and he's daintily taking small bites, and you just see him chewing, and just chewing, and just chewing, and chewing. He's just chewing. He's still chewing. He has no throat. He's just chewing.
The secret
And
to
it's-
winning this is to never swallow.
And by the end of the first pie, like his mouth is, or by the end of the first slice, his mouth is so full, and he's just like still just. It sounds like a boulder and an anvil are real mad at each other, and they're just fighting it out on his face.
As
And
is
then-
tradition.
As is tradition. So the 3 of you make it to your second slice. Can I get everybody first before you do the inevitable check to give me a will save to sort of be able to kind of fight back your any hesitance that you might have. So will saves, please.
I'm doing this for my brother.
This is
Think
what
about
you do.
Ringer. He loves spiced mushroom. He only ever has one slice.
Nope. That's quite enough. Thank you.
Can I get a bonus for the emotional shock I'm in for doing this for? Like,
I'll
for
give
the
you a
same reason
plus.
I bet-
I'll give you a +1. You begging bitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Ringer, Well, everybody, please give me a fort save. Ringer, your save is at a -2. Sharut, yours is at a -1.
Oh.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I just declared that I was doing this for my brother.
You can
I'm
spend
gonna
hero
spend a
points
hero
on this.
Oh my, don't.
Okay,
My
so
God.
Dandarin is at a he's at a 13. That would be. Oh no, wait, you already added in the +3, so you're getting a +4 total. So you're at a 15. Okay, Ringer and Sharut. Basically, Mike, what you
No,
said
I
about
was
Ringer is.
re-rolling the check.
Oh, you're
It was for
re-rolling
the
it.
re-roll.
Okay, gotcha. Go ahead and roll it.
God damn it! It's
That's
still
a
is about
really
the same as
good
what it was.
roll.
God bless. That's a 2 followed by a 3. What the?
Yeah. I thought that you were just taking the +4.
Well,
So
the +4 would have been separate, wouldn't it?
no, you would have added
Well, because I'm
4.
going to have racial +2,
Yeah.
which I now am including in.
Yeah, you added the
So I have a
racial
I have
+2.
a
You
6
added the
base.
+1 that I gave you. So I thought you were spending a hero
Yes,
point
and then I would be adding
to add.
which would put me up to a 15, right?
No, I said that, and you said no. I'm not adding that. I'm re-rolling. I asked, and you
Oh
denied.
no, because the way you said it is you're like, oh, for God's sake. No, because I'm sorry, I got confused because you're like, oh, you already have a +3, so you don't get like a +1. Because I thought you were somehow taking
No,
that
I
as
didn't
just
say you
that.
only
I'm
get a
like,
+1.
oh no, then I would just take the +4 because I misunderstood what you were saying.
You
And I was like, oh,
no,
that's why
you
I
already
said, well, I
re-rolled.
rolled the same thing. Oh,
So Ringer,
I misunderstood.
you were correct. You only get 1 slice. You take a shaky sort of like you're sort of already shaking as your face is like flushing, and you're picking up the second slice, and you lift it to your lips, and you take the smallest bite in the world, and then you realize like you can't do this. Like you feel like you're on fire right now. Basically your entire internal track hurts, and you put it down. You can't make it through. Sharut, why do surface worlders do this? This is dumb. This is so dumb. There's not even flavor in this. This is eating fire. It is pain on pain on pain.
I feel like at that point he would just put the pie down and grab the mug and chug.
Okay. Dandarin, you make not exactly the same mistake that the other guy made. You don't rub your eyes because you're not an idiot, but you do sort of rub your forehead, and that doesn't really help because you're sweating, and then there's like a little bit of capsaicin that's like coming down with the sweat, and it's like not at your eyes, but it's near them, and it's getting a little bit hard to see. And then you're sort of looking around the table, and everybody else is in essentially the same state that you are, like willing to go on. But you can tell that you have the human male across the way, you have the half-orc female, and then you have Stalwart, and everybody's just like looking at each other. Nobody really wants to concede and reach for the cup first, but you can tell that no one else
Except
really
Sharut
wants
does.
to like. Well, yeah. Sharut already reached for it.
Sharut's done.
Yeah.
But for the other people that are
I'm
still at
just
the
going-
table, nobody wants to reach for the mug first, so everybody's just looking at each other.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to just imagine, like, I'm going to kind of like tentatively start reaching for the mug, but in the back of my head, I'm going to hear a voice like, "Don't do it, brother.
Give me a will
Don't
save.
do it."
You reach for the mug, and you're almost there, and the human across the way goes, and he reaches for his and manages to touch it before you do, and he's like, "Ugh, well, I'm already this far," and he like just downs his cup of milk and goes, "I need more." And she's like, "Well, you'll have to get that somewhere else. We only offer the cup." And then he just gets up, and at this point, it's sort of you, the half-orc, and Stalwart.
I will, with a shaking hand, sweating profusely, forehead burning, grab the third slice and lock eyes with the orc. Like, we go together. Like, in this moment, for this spice pie, that half orc and I are brothers.
Okay. Give me another fort save. This one is at a -3. So you still
Okay,
get
so
your
it's
you still
just
get
a
your
fort
racial
save.
bonus versus poison or whatever, but you're just in a
Yeah.
-3.
Okay. So net minus is going to be, because of the +1 for doing it for my brother,
Yeah.
and the rate, so it's going to be my flat fort save.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah.
I rolled two. I rolled 2 2s and a 3 in this
Yeah,
contest.
it sucks to suck.
Dude,
Yeah, you take a bite and the emotions of the day, just get to you, and you realize that you miss him so much already that you're dedicating eating pies to him. And this is so dumb, and even though he's still in town, it just feels like he's gone. And so with a mouthful of burning pie, you just start ugly crying. And the and as you start doing it, at the end of the table, Stalwart, with half a slice or half of the third slice left, goes "Brah," and just spits out all of the spice shroom pie that was in its mouth, which was 2.5 slices. And you see the half orc female raise her hands like, "Roar! I won! I did it! Yeah!" And then she sits down and starts ugly crying too. And the two of you are just sitting there like, everything hurts.
I feel like, still chugging or still with the glass in hand, Sharut would pull out some sort of handkerchief and tell Dandrin, "Don't touch eyes. You'll make worse." Just hand him the handkerchief.
So the halfling sort of starts, basically picking up all the slices that people didn't touch. For most people, it's the second and third slices. She's like, "All right then, spice shroom pie by the slice. Come on up, 2 silver apiece."
And that's when Zarek gets hers.
Yeah, it's if you eat it slow and you have something to kill the burn a little bit, it's not. I won't say that it's pleasant, but it's definitely interesting. It is. There's a certain level of spice that you can put with mushrooms to make them taste really good, and then there's doing too much of it, which is the sort of traditional seer thing. Seer, we're too much.
I think there's a point where, having kind of taken a mouthful or two and mold it over, Zarak will get another a pasty or some other kind of a bready thing to go with it to amp the flavor up, but also to cut the spice down.
Yeah.
And he'll just eat those at the same time, and it's like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
However, this is done in a rush because there's some shit going on. If this is the time for it. If not, then that's cool.
Yeah, you're basically you're landing essentially at this point. You've actually missed the entire contest. You land when you hear that there's spice shroom pie by the slice, and you're like, "Oh, that sounds delightful." And then you can grab your slice and then sit down at the table.
Right.
So yeah, you're good to go.
I see that this has been just a joyous event for all of you. This is really terrible on its own.
You get used to it.
No,
still sobbing.
You don't get. It's not a thing that anybody in their right mind would try and get used to.
But when you're hungry and have nothing to pay for food, you get used to it.
I think no, still no, still a hard no. Regardless, while we are taking a moment to breathe, it appears that there have been a number of attacks around New Seer while folks have been distracted. Whilst up in the air on the Giant Eagle, we identified 3 sites to the northwest, the east, and the southwest, where it looks like wagons had been burned and potentially people injured or dead. I know this was sort of our opportunity to.
What are we waiting for? Oh, let's go check it out.
I'm gonna highly suggest that you'll wait for at least 30 minutes and just not move for a little bit.
Sharut
I know what I'm about.
Sharut hands Dandrin his water skin because it's still full of the water we got in the cave. Drink.
And Darren will hold his hand down. No, it's bread spice. Drinks
I
the
see.
goat's milk.
Drink.
Make it work.
This
Why
is
are
going
you
to
being
pass
so
so
pushy?
painfully for them.
Listen to doctor.
Delian, you see a group of clearly adventurers, maybe mercenaries. One of them crying, the other one explaining that there's some stuff going down on the road. it looks like the sort of haphazard group that you've fallen in with before.
Yeah.
And you're at the moment without a group.
Well, here I go again.
Like, nah, I'm a
You've
fuck
had-
off.
Yeah, he just, I'm out of here, and just like straight fucks off.
He just walks over and goes, "I want you all to know you can't trust that half elf," and then just leaves.
Oh, they know.
Lumio looks around for a half elf.
So, for all that talk about your love of pie, you seem to really be enjoying it. Those tears are just constantly overflowing.
I miss my brother.
Yeah, not tears of joy. They are half tears of pain.
Oh, well, I guess I could see that because everybody else is sort of also crying.
In pain.
It's really not that bad if you take it slow.
Hmm.
Not
I'd
What's the
rather
fun
not.
in that?
Yes, and this is the effect of not taking it slow.
We should probably get moving regardless. I'm sure that there's lives on the line. It's going to be a bit of a travel anyway, and frankly, we should send out.
I'll go get the card.
We also need to
Correct.
maybe see,
Otago.
if there are guard or scouts or anyone who could head to the other sites. We can't cover them all ourselves.
Do we have time for me to grab something?
Well, we have to get the message out, so probably.
So, the area that you, so that you know, Justin, the area that you
Uh-huh.
saw, if you guys were to take like the cart and go for it, is probably a day and a half or more away. Like that's the kind of like difference in speed
Wow,
between a
okay.
flying giant eagle and the cart.
Fair.
Because the eagle is flying you around at essentially a run for it. And you had the spyglass too. So yeah, like this is something where if you guys were to leave now, you might get there tomorrow night. It might be the next day. It would probably, just based on distance, sending like telling someone and sending a scout or something like that would probably
Mhm.
be maybe not better, but like more efficient.
Yeah.
Because you guys are going to be like, we gotta go now, and then hop into a wagon and be like, it's
Yeah.
Well, we were too late.
yeah, it's going to be real slow going.
Fair enough. In that case, since Zorak seems to be one of the few with her capabilities still intact, she'll dash off. I should like suggest that she dash off and find Elder and see what's going on.
Okay.
Try and get some shifter scouts out that way.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to like
It's okay.
just like shit on your idea. I was just it didn't seem like you understood the distance
And that's fair.
properly.
Yeah, I wasn't comparing to the key for distant.
Yeah, so essentially if we do, hold on.
Well, every one of those is 100 miles, and it's 2.5 squared.
So
About 10 feet.
yeah, 10 feet is about 80 miles. So it would take you at least a day of hard riding in the wagon to get there.
Yeah.
And that's being super generous, and that's if the donkeys are like cooperative the entire time.
I do have handle animal now.
But
I took mystery spear.
yeah, like they're just honestly, like if we're they're beasts of burden, but they're not quick. It's not like they're Valinar horses or mage bred horses or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so you just tell them, and then you're going to sort of like leave to go find Alder. Cool.
That's the plan.
Cool. All right, so you tell them and you leave. For the rest of you at the table, a charming looking half elf man, Koravar, with he looks a little you know, a little bit older than some that you've seen. So he's probably got a good, 70 to 80 years on him, which for Koravar means that he's sort of just starting to hit old age. He walks over and he's got like flour basically all over his hands, a little bit on his clothing. He's wearing an apron. He's got various sort of sauce stains on it. Anybody who frequents the bakeries that are in the sort of center of town would probably know this man. His name is Timmons, and he sort of steps over here and says, "So, well, gents, you all tried it. What'd you think of the pie?"
It could use variety.
Don't listen to
Yeah.
him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. My compliments to the chef? Baker?
Yeah, pie's a mysterious beast. You got to be able to cook the crust without drying out the insides. The good gravy is what you need. And, well, with spice rooms, if you use a good gravy on it, you're basically wasting a good gravy. No one's going to be able to taste it anyway. So you just sort of use what you got and boil it down enough to be thick. But, was the crust good? Huh?
What I could taste, yes.
I'll take it.
Fine. Insides, torture.
My curse you. My insides. They are torture.
Why humans eat?
Well, I told you it wouldn't be good.
I just realized that Delian is not small. There. Now he's small.
What's happened to him?
Look, he's just big boned.
Yeah.
He's incredibly large boned. Small headed, large boned, thick kneed.
Thick need.
Ample bosom.
And Timmons goes, "Well, that's it's good to hear. If any of you need anything, let us know. We've only got about another hour or so here before we start wrapping up. But otherwise, check out the fair. Enjoy yourselves. Have a good day. And we'll see you all when tomorrow comes." And Ringer, he makes direct eye contact with you and goes, "Can I speak to you for a minute?" And then walks back over to his stand.
Sure thing. Back in a little bit.
And he says, "Seen you around town a bit, but I don't actually know your name."
Liar, I do odd jobs.
Must be odd enough if you've never stopped in for a piece of bread or a patsy. My name's Timmons. I run the largest bakery in town, and, well, the main wheat field. That's mine too. Had to plant it to feed my bakery. We're having a unity dinner tonight after the fair. Just our folk, of course. So afraid you won't be able to invite your friends, but you're more than welcome to come if you'd like.
I mean, I'm always down for free food. Should I bring anything? Can I even afford to bring anything? Or wait, I have money today.
And he goes, honestly, I'm gonna pretty much be covering all of the pies. And I think we have Shayna over there. And he sort of points to the other side of the fair. She's one of the primary butchers in town, so she'll be covering a lot of the meat. If you want to bring a couple bottles of something, that'd be nice. And he's like,
I'm
and if
sure
you
Warmed up a couple of bottles.
got any issues that you need to bring up, just have them prepped. But for the most part, just come ready to have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds fantastic.
He goes, great. He goes, and again, haven't seen you in town much, but like I said, name's Timmons. You can find my place just off to the northeast of the fountain. Can't miss it, really. Smells like bread, and I'm in there from 3 bells before the cock crows, needing dough. But you need anything, come ask. We've got a fair, strong community here, and we're always looking to help our kind. You know what I mean?
I do.
And he,
Who do I
he's...
know that has bottles of stuff?
What was that?
I said, who do I know that has bottles of stuff?
There's a brewer in town / distiller. There's actually a couple of them. And you know that the Vine-Off, the Vine-Off is a thing that used to be part of the Queen's birthday celebrations back when Sear had a lot of vineyards. Sear doesn't exist anymore, so there's not a lot of vineyards. So now it's mostly like mead and beer and like various other types of alcohols. They still call it the Vine-Off, but it's just a liquor taste testing. And that seems to be going on near the middle of the fairgrounds where all of the drunks are located.
Dwayne.
And as you sort of start to walk off, he goes, "Hey, wait! You like lemon?"
Okay. Sorry, what?
He goes, "Do you like lemon?"
Well, I go ahead, lemon.
Never had lemon. And he grabs a couple of tarts, and they look like the last two of these small tarts with this sort of like yellow cream on them, and then this kind of like weird puffy white stuff. And he puts them in a bag, and he just rolls up the bag, the wax paper, and he chucks it to you. And he goes, "Let me know what you think."
Great day today. He's basically going to go straight towards the drunks and try and get any information he can about anyone who has wine.
Okay. So yeah, the vine off is basically happening over in this area. You see, there's a good number of people over there, and they have all kinds of stuff, but it's mostly, how can I put it? It's mostly like farm level stuff. Like these are, like grandpa made a microbrew type stuff. The one that has the most selection is, of course, Gage Galanda, because whereas most people of the Galanda house tend to specialize in, like, I'm gonna run an inn, Gage has decided to specialize in, I'm going to make liquor. So Gage just gets people drunk.
Good job, Gage.
Yeah, way to go, Gage. But if you're looking specifically for wine, go ahead and give me a diplomacy check.
We all know Ringer is the best at. How does this keep happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you get over there, you find that there's a male human, sort of close cropped hair, and he goes, "Sir, my Corvar friend, please come here. I've got fine grape, fresh from of Siren make. You'll love it." And he's like, as you're walking over to him, he's already like pulling out the cork, and he's dribbling just a little bit into a tasting glass, and he goes, "Give that a sniff and a swig, and you will find it's like walking back into Eston."
Yeah, he'll do that. He's
Okay.
never tasted wine before, so he doesn't.
Ringer's never had wine.
He's extremely working class.
Well, I mean, it's like wine isn't just, $3,000 bottles of wine. Like it's also just wine. So
I'll put it this way, he's
okay, so I'm going to
very
tell
poor.
you what everybody who has never had wine before thinks when they first have wine. Man, this grape juice has gone really bad. And then at the end of it, there's like that thought of like, oh, wait, and then nah. And then like when you take the second little sip, it's like, okay, wait, nah. And then it's essentially the wait keeps growing longer, but I don't know how much of it Ringer would actually drink to get to there.
I don't actually know how much money I have on me after and all that.
You have, based on Uswin's calculations, you have 72.8 gold pieces. So 72 gold and 8 silver.
Regardless of how it tastes, you'd be like, this is fine. How much for a bottle, if you have any for sale?
A single bottle. Wine of this vintage can't be found anymore. You're going to want more than one. Is Ringer falling for it? Is he being upsold?
I don't know. What do I roll to resist that, if anything?
I mean, give me a will save.
Sure. Oh, he's fallen hard.
Okay. I mean, look, man, you might not be able to get this ever again.
All right. How much?
And he goes, "Well, for you, and given that it is the birthday of our fine queen, and it is the festival of remembrance, 10 Galifars for the bottle, and it's yours. You want both bottles? I would do it for 19. For a trio, 27.
He'd go for all three. Like
Okay.
He knows he's going to a party.
You have 3 bottles of fine wine.
That's fine in quotation marks.
No, it's legitimately fine wine. It's just that Ringer's too dumb to actually know if it's fine wine. Like you've never had it before.
Yeah.
You went directly for the like I explicitly said like they can't really make wine anymore, and you're like, I'm going for wine. Yeah, you get 3 bottles of wine and it costs you 27 gold. You just spent $270.
Okay. He's never had this much money before. He doesn't know what that means.
Yeah, sure. You're like, well, hi, Evan. Almost, I could probably do this 2 more times. Like, it's fine. Everything's good.
Yeah.
So, all right. And, Lumio,
Mm-hmm.
you got your friends sort of like hanging out. They've been talking about stuff, wanting to go and find people or do things, and Zeract explained distance, and they realize that, oh, that's pretty far away. So she's like, I'll just go tell Alder, and Alder can send a scout with a horse. Are you doing anything of note as you're hanging out here? It looks like the party's not necessarily like calming down, but as it's becoming, nighttime, people are doing less like athletic things and more like let's sit and watch people dance, or let's go into the tents and watch the shows and the juggling and that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I think Lumio was probably most prepared for the contest type stuff.
Okay.
Because that generally takes outside connections and people to work together to make sure it works well. So he's free to kind of mosey about, and I think he's probably going to make sure that Stalwart has a few things that he can do for the rest of the evening, or for the next few hours, and then go peruse the stalls, because you don't get to see festivals like this too often.
Yeah, and you see, Stalwart seems to be over at the sort of like meats on a stick vendor, making kind of a pile of chewed food.
Yeah, he do that.
Yeah, he do that. And yeah. Otherwise, if you want to peruse the various stalls, they have mage rights around selling various magical doodads. They've got people selling clothing, cloaks, hides, furs. There's trinkets and tools. The tools mostly being sold by Uswin. And then they are probably, I don't know, about half an hour to 45 minutes away from wrapping up the Tago lessons on the stage here at the bottom.
Yeah, that seems about right. I'm gonna look for trinkets,
Okay.
the kind that come in specifically for this, and see if
Sure.
there's anything that catches my eye.
Sure. So, yeah, go ahead and give me a perception check with a +3.
Okay, perception is my good old +1 on that, so that'll be a +4 total.
All right. So you see that up here, like in the northern part, up near the sort of like ballista shooting station,
Oh yeah.
um, there's somebody next to one of the stalls that's selling like jars of suet and cured furs. There's somebody selling trinkets, various trinkets that are made from claws, teeth, antlers, bone, that sort of thing. Um,
Huh.
and you're able to find some basically it's almost like scrimshaw that is crafted from what looks to be an elk shoulder. So it's this like very large plate of white bone that somebody has carved sort of a silhouette of the 7 pillars that make up the city of Metrol, and the towers of Vermishard that were on top of those pillars, and then you see that they have painted the river that sort of came down through the town, down at the bottom. It looks extremely well done for what it is, like for Scrimshaw.
Yeah.
Other things that you see at this place are mostly going to be like bracelets, necklaces, that sort of thing. Um, and your eye would also catch something that basically looks like a walking staff with a couple of feathers pointed out of the top, and it basically looks like a Wolverine skull or like a weasel skull, something like that. Sort of like a picture like a large Wolverine skull on the top of
Mhm.
it, and then threaded through the eyes are some leather cords, and then hanging down from those cords are basically a bunch of beads and teeth.
Huh. Fascinating. I wonder if you could tell me the originator of this work here, this elk shoulder. I asked the vendor.
And the vendor goes, it's an orc woman, and she says, "Well, I'm the one what hunts the animals, and my husband over there." And she like turns to point at the shifter man who's currently showing some people a couple of furs. She
Mhm.
says, "My husband usually does the carving of the bones and curing the furs, so he he's the scrimshander. The painting on this one, though, I think I think his daughter did that one. He doesn't really go
Ah,
in for color, mostly just natural stuff, but she likes to brighten it up."
fascinating. It's an incredible piece. I'm always more interested, unfortunately, in the technique than I am the subject matter. But I would love to know more. Uh, uh, would it be all right if I spoke with him?
As yeah, I no one's at my stand. Let me go grab that sail from him and rescue him from someone who wants a cloak, and you can just talk his ear off. I'm sure he'd
I would
love to
love to.
talk about Metrol. He'd always love to talk about Metrol.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And
Uh,
she goes and
while
basically just cuts in and basically like points him at you. So what were you gonna say?
yeah, while she's heading away, can I do an Arcana check on the staff there?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a check.
Okay. Uh,
How can I put it?
bugger.
Uh, nothing, nothing about this is indicating to you that this is magical. You
Okay.
don't really have any way of detecting that, but it looks just like it's a finely carved walking stick more than like a combat staff or like a wizard's magical staff.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, Probably given the like the sort of like carving along the eyes of the skull and that sort of thing, might have some sort of like cultural significance, but
Mm,
it's hard to tell.
yeah. Um, all right. When he gets over, I will strike up a conversation about Metrol and just get to understand and the way he remembers it.
Okay.
Uh, yeah.
And yeah, he is happy to reminisce about Metrol. Uh, Metrol was the finest, nicest, most artistic, best city in the world before the morning. Um, to a lot of people, that's fact. To a lot of people, that's opinion. Like, it's not like On Dare is gonna say like Metrol was the best city. Um, but to most Seerans, Metrol was like the jewel of Galifar. Seer was the jewel of Galifar, and Metrol was the seer of, or the jewel of Seer. And
Mm.
uh, like you can see that this man is like wistful. He's like, I've actually been, I've actually been in six of the pillars. Uh, never did, never did manage to make it to the last one, but makes me sad to think about it now. But God, I miss that damn city. You could see the sunlight
Understandable.
breaking through the clouds, coming up over the river. We were we were protected naturally. We were protected. God, the sovereigns themselves would have died before Metro would fall. Don't know what happened. I know no one does, but God, I just miss it.
Mm.
Do you know that
Uh,
I've heard people still go in there? They do. It's Not people from this side mostly. People from the other side of the Mournland. But people do still go into Metro. Heard it's dangerous, but I've been thinking of going myself. Wife won't
Hmm.
hear of it.
Is there any place? I am one that frequently departs here. Is there any place that you might recommend? Should I find my way there?
And he goes, "What? You think you're gonna just walk through the Mournland to get there?" And
For one such as I? And
he
Lumio like cocks his head a little bit.
he gives you kind of a like he turns his head and he's giving you a look like suddenly he doesn't fully know what to make of you. And he goes, "You're not one of them, are you? One of them followers of that Lord of Blades?"
No, friend. No, I am not.
He goes, "Don't get me wrong. I'm all for Warforged. You didn't choose to be what you are." He goes, "I'm a shifter. My wife's a half-orc. My kid's an elven orphan." He goes, "People just are sometimes. I don't care if you're Warforged. I care that that Lord of Blades, he thinks that he runs our home country. Seer belongs to us, not him.
Mm.
Sorry.
Lumio lets out what appears to be a heavy sigh as well. Um, uh, it, it 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 impresses upon me that if I were to recommend his service to any, it would be those in my own kind. But instead, I apply my way here, serving the rightful lord. And he kind of gestures towards the house, where the Lord Orin is, who has as his right our patronage. Well, most of our uh, uh, allegiances have shifted uh, in recent years. We still have a certain favorability towards the house. I'm sure that's why you frequent this area as well, among other things, benefits and such.
Right. Well, loyalty. There's not much benefit to being a noose here, but where else am I to go? Everywhere else in Corvair either thinks you're bad luck or hates you because of where you're from, even though where you're from isn't where you're from anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But
Still, we are a terrible reminder of something that is long and terrible. It's hard to shake that duty to the past.
right. You asked me a question, where to go?
Yeah, I might see it one day.
He goes, "If you're going to Metrol, my advice, and this would be what I would tell anyone, what you're going to want to see, if the gods are kind and the weather's good, would be the sight of a sunset or a sunrise from one of the northern facing pillars of the southern tower, or northern-facing points of the southern pillar of Vermishard. You can, it's like watching the gates of heaven open up for you. Barring that, there was a museum just off of Starmantle Bay. Paintings, sculpture. Ondare might say that they have all the culture in the world, but they're just a poor imitation of what we are and what we had. They're only at the where they are now because they're finally having to innovate now that Seer is what it is.
Mm.
If sculpture's your fancy, the eastern the eastern bay of Starmantle Bay, or the eastern shore of Starmantle Bay, large museum. You can't miss it. There's a twisting sculpture outside. Sort of looks like 6 arms coming out of an orb. Uh, each arm marked with the grace of one of the sovereigns.
Hmm.
You'd
I hope that I get to see it one day,
you'd like it, I think.
and I will study this work of your daughter's to remind me of what a sunset could be when I look out from those that courtyard.
Right. Well, I've got to get back to my booth. But
How much for this bracelet here?
he goes, it's 2 sovereigns.
That's silver, yeah,
Yeah.
or 2 silver, yeah. Lumio leaves a gold coin and says thank you, and he walks off or
Okay.
on to the next one.
Okay. Sounds good. So at that point, with it being 10:50ish and Zarak running for help, and Lumio talking to people, and Ringer basically planning for the after party, I think we're gonna cut for the night, and we will continue the festival, and then probably move out of town next week. But real quick, I want to do hit points. So, Dandarin, earlier, so that everybody knows what happened is that everybody leveled. And I told them all to go ahead and add all of their stuff except for their hit points, because this has basically been one very long day for them. So, Dandrin, you already rolled a d10 and you got a 7. I'm going to roll for you now, and I got a 9.
Ooh. Hey.
So, Ringer, I believe, strikers roll a d10 as well.
D10s.
Do they not?
Yep, they do.
So go ahead and roll your d10.
Well, I'm just going to roll my beautiful bean footage and get a 2.
A 9. So you can have 9 plus con or 2 plus con, your choice.
I will stick with the 9.
Okay.
Ooh, bold choice.
It was a bold choice.
And for Zaract, I believe that Pact Binders are a 1d8, correct?
That is correct.
Go ahead and roll it. Who's making noise into the mic?
I think I'll take that.
It's Campbell's soup.
Wait.
They came.
Maybe
out.
I'll get something better. You don't know.
Look,
I'm going to lay down the law, Justin. You have to take mine.
God damn it. Wait, hold on. Is this like if you roll max and I roll max, then they combine, they merge, and they get better?
You know the podcast that I got this from, right? It's you're allowed to take what they say is that you're allowed to take the higher one, but if you both match, you have to roll again, and then you have to take the lower one.
Oh, that's fucking stupid. So no, I'm good.
All right, and Sharut, the big boy, you're a D6. Roll that D6 there, Noah.
I do the roll thing wrong every time.
It's /roll space 1d6.
Okay. Nope.
No. How? How?
Like this. Like this. I can do it.
Yeah.
You did it again.
It's
Heresy.
I'm
Heresy.
I'm so tired.
Dude, don't you code?
Sometimes
Not well.
there's a lot of autocorrect.
That's doubtful.
Go to the next person. Right
No.
now. I'm tired as fuck.
/roll 1d6.
Okay.
/roll, not roll slash.
I'll
You
take
did
the
it, bud.
6.
I should make you take that 3. That's fine. You get 6 plus con. Lumio already rolled. You rolled a 4, and I rolled a 4. You have to take my 4. I said so. And Delian, I forget what you are. You are a hedge witch, right?
Hedge witch. Yep.
Hedge witch?
Yep.
Hedge witch is a d8. Roll 1d8, please.
Cool.
Oh.
It can only go up.
It can
Or not.
It can't be worse.
It's not. It's better.
It can't be worse, but it can be close.
Hey, at least you get to add con to that, right, bud?
That's true. Yeah, that's super good. Oh, wait. Oh, cool.
Oh, fuck.
Do you got a negative con?
No, luckily I
Oh
don't.
man.
Yeah.
But I'm no dwarf.
You're a gnome. Gnomes also get a bonus to con.
They do.
I know. But
Look,
like it's
I don't
fine.
know if I don't know if I ever told you this, but at 3.5, back when they had the like Living Forgotten Realms as a game, and back when, or I guess it was 3.0, they had Living Forgotten Realms, and I decided I was gonna play a gnome sorcerer, and I put all of my ability points into con instead of charisma. So I started with a 20 con, and I took toughness as my feat. So I was playing a first level gnome sorcerer with 12 hit points.
Hell yeah.
And each level I got, I think it was either 7 or 8. I think it was 8. And and I got hit real hard for a first level sorcerer, which was like 5 hit points. And I was like, these guys are really tough. We need to keep going. And they're like, how are you still alive? And then they hit me again for another 5. And I was like, guys, I'm starting to falter here. And the fighter in the group was like, what the fuck? How many hit points do you have?
Lovely.
But it was cool because I was a first level sorcerer, so I had 2 spells, and my 2 spells were shield and mage armor. And I had hit points, I had shield, and I had mage armor, and other than that, I was just playing a guy with a crossbow.
Yep.
Oh, John Eric, you're such a degenerate. Oh.
I love it.
Remember, I'm not happy till you're not happy. And so
That's like family crest or something.
I feel like that was everybody. That was Ringer, that was Lumio, that was Dandarin, that was Zeract, that was Delian. Am I missing anyone?
Wait, we forgot about Tutar.
Oh, right. We should roll for Tutark. Poor guy.
Poor fella.
You got 3. All right. So we're going to stop this here. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And we'll hopefully see you all next week. Goodbye.